Hello, everyone. If you're there, I hope you are. Uh, Sorry, I'm running a little behind on things. I just received a call from one of my sisters back in Indiana, and so I was talking to her. She told me there's going to be a family reunion back home in August, so I get everything set up. And, still trying to get this done. I don't see anybody yet, so that's fine. Hey, Zach, how you doing? You're the first one I see. You want to come up, you're more than welcome. You don't, you can always, well, you know how to do it. If you want to do it, come up on the live stream. And, you can always, oops, I got to mute that. This is my Ninja channel. I want to check something here, but I got to get the Ninja channel up first. All right, it is working. So let me get that up here real quick. Last week it wasn't working. I went in and so all you got to do if you want to let people know what your channel is. Zach, do you have? Yes, you do. And I'm doing quite well. Like I said, I was my oldest sister back in Indiana. She's my second oldest sister. She just called me a little bit before I was start to go live. She was telling me that we're having a family reunion on August 3rd back in Terre Haute with my mom's side of the family. And that's usually around the time that my dad's side of the family has a reunion. So I guess I'm going to try to go home in August for at least a week, maybe longer. I was thinking about maybe going earlier, so I might go back home twice. I'm not sure, but I will go home at least once for a week. I always go home every year. Last year I went home. It was late October, early November. The year before I went back in November. That's a mistake. I don't want to go home that late again. Uh, it's I'm not sure. I think you might be in the states there, exact. And if you are, then you know how bad the weather can get in the Midwest and on the East Coast with all the snow and stuff. And so it makes it tough. I mean, sometimes it's safe and you don't have any trouble, and other times it snows and you have a lot of trouble getting back and forth. It did not snow last time until the day I left Terre Haute, and it snowed that day. And I drove all the way in snow from Terre Haute till I got to Erie, Pennsylvania. Uh, Now, that car, I did a short on showing the front end of my car and how bad it was. So, telling people, hey, look, when you're driving in this stuff, make sure you stop and clean the front end of your car off because it can, be hazardous. Now, I was driving during the day, so it wasn't so bad. But at nighttime, it really would have blocked my vision because of the light would have been covered in ice and snow. I showed that, cleaned it off. I When I go home, I can do it in one day, but it's like it's well over 12 hours of driving. Okay, it's well over 600 miles one way. It's for me, it's about from where I live, uh, around 700 or more miles one way, and so it takes quite a while to drive it. Uh, I and I used to drive it in one day, but I lived closer then. but I could do it in 8 hours back in those days when I was driving it one day. I can still drive it in one day. It just, as the older I get, the less I want to do that. So I'll drive about halfway, stop, spend the night, and drive the next day in. And that's what I'll do this time as well. And so, but like I said, I got to decide if I want to go back twice or just go back in August and maybe take 2 weeks instead of a week. And so, like I said, I'm doing quite well. Like I said, got to talk with my sister. She's well, I don't know if you know exact or not, but I have four sisters who are still living. Both my brothers have passed away, and so is my father. My mother's 98 years old. She just turned 98 last month. Uh, so, like I said, now three of my sisters are older than me, and then I have one sister who's quite a bit younger than I am. She's 7.5 to 8 years younger. It depends on the time of year. Uh, I had a younger brother. Like I said, both my brothers have passed. Hey, midlife, how you doing? Glad to see you make it. Let me give you a monitor. And now midlife, if you want. There was seven kids. Now, exact. I did have a brother who did not make it home from the hospital. I'm not sure. He was between me and my younger brother. I'm not sure if he was stillborn or died after birth. I really don't know. I was too young to remember him. Like I said, I never. I don't. As young as I was, I didn't get to go to the hospital and see him. And my mom was last year when I was home. She was a little more talkative about it. She used to never talk about it. Hey, Jerry. And so I knew there was a sibling that didn't make it home. She told me last year it was a brother, and said he didn't make it back home from the hospital. So I don't know if he was stillborn or if he died shortly after birth. She was talking about how a lot of the family was disappointed because never got to meet him. So he either died right after birth or was stillborn. I don't know which. I didn't press my mother on that. Uh, like I said, she's already buried two of her sons, besides that brother, which I never did get to know. I know it put her in a big depression when she lost that brother of mine, which I don't know if they ever even named him. Uh, my dad was a cross country truck driver when this happened. He came off the road, stayed home for a couple of years until my little brother was born. Because my mom was in such a deep depression, he came to be home to help support her and us kids. My oldest sister, who's 10 years older than me, was more like during that time frame, those couple of years, she was like a mother to me. I mean, she really took care of me and my younger siblings. Well, no younger siblings, younger than her, I should say. And I'm glad you made it here. Now, midlife, if you type in just three L's, nothing else, it can be capital or small letters, doesn't matter. That will drop a link to your channel. So if anybody wants to check it out, Midlife Wanderings is a Phil-Am couple that is just retired. Well, her husband just retired in December, and they're moving back to she's moving back. Actually, they're moving back because he lived there for a couple of years. Midlife's mother was not doing well. They're moving back to the Philippines. They're waiting until June because her son is still in school, and they want to wait till his school year is up, which I don't blame them. But I followed them on my other channel. Uh, like I said, many of you know I have a different channel. Well, I put the link up earlier just to check the T-bot, the Nightbot. Hey, Mike, how you doing? Yes, Mike. Prayers for everybody. I did not know the NPA. No, I did not hear the news from the Philippines. I'm sorry to hear that. Hopefully, everybody in your family's safe. And now, Mike, do you know midlife? Uh, but like I said, everybody that comes here, like I said, anybody that midlife, you or your husband, either one can come up and We'll have a conversation about anything you want. I like having a panel. Uh, most, like I said, everybody that's been here many times, they know that. I can talk by myself for a while, but I enjoy it more when I have a panel. And yeah, I forgot, uh, Mylene, welcome. I hope you're doing well. Jerry comes up once in a while, but it depends on what's going on around Jerry. Jerry lives in, like as the name says, lives in Texas, and so it's earlier in the day there. If I'm not wrong, Jerry, isn't it about 5 o'clock, or is it 4 o'clock where you're at? I think you're. Are you 2 or 3 hours behind me, Jerry? It's 7 here, and so anyway, yeah, it's been a nice day. A bit of, like I always say, Saturday's usually my lazy day. Hey, I got to earn my name somehow. I work 40 hours a week. I'm a 70-year-old man. I'm working 40 hours a week. I'll have to check it out myself, midlife. But like I said, I do work 40 hours a week. And so on Saturday, I get Saturdays and Sundays off. And so I try to take one day every week and not do much that day. And that's usually Saturday for me. I usually try to take Saturdays easy. Although I think I might have to, I'm going to just go off camera. I'm not going to mute or anything. I'm just going to go off camera for a minute. But yeah, it's just it's my slow day. Well, that would depend on the schools there, Mike. I know not all the schools want it. And I can understand them wanting it. Massachusetts, yeah, that makes sense. Massachusetts would be one of the states that makes a lot of sense to me. Um, I don't know. Hey, Sable, how you doing? The Nightbot is now working Sable. I don't remember if you tried to put it up last week or not, but you can type in your 3Ls and my Nightbot will now drop your link. Yeah. Hey, Eric. Yeah, like I said, the mass shootings, they're not as common as a lot of people like to think they are, but they are too common. It doesn't matter if it's one a year, it's too much. So I don't want to downplay that. One a year is way too much if you ask me. But so anyway, I'd like to see them stop the mass shootings. But it's a sad thing. Uh, and both sides do it. I hate to say it. It's just silly. Larice, how you doing? Welcome. And hey, girlie, how you doing? Now, now midlife. I don't know if you know this or not, but I do have quite a few followers that live in the Philippines. Now, Mike, married to a beautiful woman, is a gentleman that lives in Canada, but his wife and her family are in the Philippines. He goes back and forth. But now Jerry, he lives in Texas, but he does like to go to the Philippines. He's been there a few times. So I think I have more followers in the United States, but the next largest group is those in the Philippines. And it surprises me that most of my followers are under 35 years of age. Like I said, I just told you how old I am. I'm not a young man. But now I've been to the Philippines, in case any of you are wondering. I was in the Navy, served with a lot of Filipinos. I was in the Navy, like I said, but my division or my work group was almost 1/3 Filipino. I was in supply. I was a ship serviceman. I was a barber, a laundryman. I worked in the Navy Exchange. I filled the vending machines. I worked in the candy store. I ran a gas station on shore duty on base. I did a lot of different jobs, and actually on shore duty, when I had the fewest Filipinos. I don't think there was any on shore. Well, that not. I'm not saying there weren't any Filipinos. They were, but I'm saying in my work group, I don't think there was. I don't remember any Filipinos, but there was a lot there, and I knew quite a few of them. Some of them I knew from ship, one of the ships I was on before, along with some of the other guys that were, that were in my division. One of the guys I knew him from previously serving with him on board the ship. A couple other guys I knew from serving on board ship, but they were in a different division. But we had served together. And like I said, on shore duty, the guys that worked in dispersing, that's the people that paid us. Were a lot of Filipinos in dispersing on shore duty. Hey, Ann, how you doing, Crystal? And they would, whenever they had a party, they always invited me over. Because, like I said, I knew them, and we always got along. Even on ship, we got along quite well. And I got along with their families. So, like I said, I really did know a lot of Filipinos in the service. Like I said, my division on ship, my first ship, was about 1/3 Filipino and about 1 white. Hey, we got Jerry coming up. South Texas is here. Hey, Jerry, welcome, sir.
Hey, good afternoon or evening or magandang umaga.
Yeah, it's afternoon for you, evening for me, and morning for the Philippines.
Yep.
And so we got some people here. I see you're showing your chickens and your cats. Is the horse out
They're
there?
not mine. Yeah, they're not mine. Only the chickens. There's a few there.
Yeah, I see them now. And
No horse.
Sable said major love shout out to everybody.
Shout out.
And now, Mike, I thought her one-legged chicken was named Lucky. Or was that her pig? Okay, I'm sorry, folks. That's an old joke. There was a farmer who had I want to say it was a pig. It was one-legged, and he called it Lucky. And they said, "Well, why is that?" Well, we hadn't killed him yet.
We're that makes sense.
Getting off parts of him, to feed when we need something. She's trying to get in with the chickens.
Yes. Go in the chicken coop.
Oh yeah, but nice quiet day today. Like telling everybody, I was just being lazy today. I just put the shirt on just to do this live stream. I hadn't even put a shirt on all day. I have not. I looked out the apartment, opened up the apartment door. It was like -6 Celsius.
That's cold.
Oh.
We gotta.
I'm sorry. Yesterday was in the 40s. All right. It was about 10 or I'd say about 11 or maybe even 12 above, positive plus Celsius. So it was in the 40s. Today, when I looked, it was -6 Celsius. So that's a big difference, man. That's a big difference in one day. Yesterday was absolutely nice day. Now, if I have to pick on the day to be better, I'm glad it was yesterday because I worked yesterday and I had to get out in the weather a lot more yesterday because of my job. And today, with it being cold, I just stayed home. I was going to go fill the car up today, and it can wait till tomorrow. If it's cold again tomorrow, that's just too bad. I have to go fill it up. I'm not going to be able to make it back to work and home again without going to get the car filled up. And I'll probably do my laundry tomorrow, but I can put that off to Monday if I really need to. But like I said, I got about 30 miles left on the tank. That's what it says. It's probably less than that. And it's about 20 miles just to work. So I'd have to buy gas on the way home. And it's cheaper there's a couple of places I can go that's cheaper. Like I'll probably go to BJ's. I can get it for under $3 a gallon. The cheapest place on the way home from work is about $3.09. So I can save about 10 cents a gallon by going to BJ's.
It fluctuates a lot. We have it. The cheaper ones are about $2.60,
Yeah. Well,
up
yeah.
to 2.99 or so.
I know when I drive back from New York to Indiana, usually Ohio and Indiana are cheaper than uh, New York and Pennsylvania. Now, that's not always the case, but usually that's the case. And a lot of that has to do with the taxes the states put on the gas, plus the cost of transportation from the refinery to to the location of where they get the gas. I always try to fill up on the day I leave or the night before I leave at BJ's, which is the cheapest place to get it, and then I try to make it to Pennsylvania because it's usually cheaper than New York. But if I can make it into Ohio, I'll make it into Ohio because usually as soon as I go into Ohio, usually the gas is a little cheaper, so I'll fill up there. And then I also stop and spend the night in Ohio. I spend it just outside of Ashland, and then so you got a BJ's where you're at there, Mike? For those of you that don't know what a BJ's is, if you know what Sam Club is or Costco, BJ's just a competitor. Now, not all of them have gas to sell gas, but they're the same thing. They're a large warehouse type store that sells goods cheaper than the grocery stores and some of the other places.
Mhm.
And hey, Susanna, how you doing? And Susanna, I got my Nightbot working. So if you want, go ahead and drop in just 3 L's, nothing else, just 3 L's. And my Nightbot will drop your channel for you. So if anybody wants to check it out, they'll be able to do it. The L's could be capital or they could be small letters. It does not matter. That's the way I set it up. I thought about putting it in as just typing in lazy, but I thought 3 L's is easier. I'm too lazy to type 4 letters. Let's just do 3.
Yeah, that'll work.
That's what I thought. And that works. It's the initials of my main channel, LLL. And, but yeah. Well, then, Mike, you don't want to go to BJ's. You want to BJ's.
Yep.
All right, Mike. Yes, I'm still addicted to Coke Zero. What can I say?
I think the only time I drink Coke is when I go to Mexico.
Well, they
I
probably
don't.
have the real sugar stuff, but I drink it without sugar because I am
Yeah,
diabetic or
they use
pre-diabetic,
cane.
whatever you look at. I don't take insulin.
They use cane sugar over there, not
Yeah,
sucrose. What they use here.
yeah. But I I tried cutting back, and I did cut back. I still cut back, but I'm still drinking too much. I was on uh, Expat Info channel with on Steve. And one of the guys on there said trying to quit drinking Coke is like a crackhead trying to go get sober. It's very hard to do.
I did it. I didn't have trouble back in the early part of the century. I
Yeah, but
quit
how
for
much
a
did you
few.
drink it? How much did you drink a day? I mean, if you only drink one a day, that's not hard. But I drink too much.
Oh, okay, yeah, I wasn't just drinking it day and night. It was just more in the either afternoon or evening. But being the jobs that I had, it's I would crave water more.
Yeah. Well, I drink coffee, I drink water, and I drink pop. I drink all of it. I drink pop and coffee more than I drink water. I probably should drink water.
Yeah, you got to drink more some water.
But now, yesterday I just drank water until I got home, and then I had Coke, the Coke Zero. I didn't drink any coffee yesterday at all. Today I had about oh almost 30 ounces of coffee. I'd say 28 ounces. Uh, but I usually don't. That's what I usually drink on the weekend. I drink 2 14-ounce cups of coffee in the morning. Now, this morning I got up earlier than I normally do on a Saturday. I actually got up a little after 6. That surprised the heck out of me. But I just couldn't sleep, so I got up. And I'm still sleeping in because I don't usually get up till 5. So I slept in a little bit, but nothing like I usually do. Usually I don't get up to about 9 or 10. And I feel pretty good. Maybe that's because I didn't drink any coffee yesterday. I'll find out tomorrow. If I can't get up in the morning, then it's probably because I didn't drink coffee on Friday, and I'll probably have to quit coffee. I'll at least drink it as much as I did. Uh, Maybe drink one cup of coffee a day instead of the. Yeah, not in my family, Mike. My family were all coffee drinkers. Well, not all of us. All of us that drank coffee were heavy coffee drinkers. I got a most of my oldest sister drank coffee. My mom drank coffee. My dad drank coffee. I drank coffee, uh, and we all drank quite a bit of coffee. In the '70s, when I was in the Navy, I'd go through a pot or two by myself. Uh, my oldest sister used to drink probably half a pot or more by herself. My mom drank quite a bit of coffee. My dad did. Uh, so I mean, and I had an uncle, my mom's older brother. He would judge a waitress's tip on his coffee. If she let it run dry and he had to ask, that cut into her tip. And he would tell him when he'd go in and sit down. He says, "Now I just keep refilling this cup. I don't need to ask you. If I have to ask you, I'm going to deduct it from your tip." He says, "You keep my coffee cup full." He says, "I'll give you a nice tip." And he did. If they kept it full, he gave them a nice tip because they would just keep filling it up until he said, "All right, this will be enough for me."
Hmm.
And then, my dad would get a cup of coffee, and this is back when coffee was 15 cents, and he'd give him a quarter for a tip. So he'd leave a tip bigger than what the price of coffee costs.
Well, that was pretty good for the waitress.
Oh yeah, but like I said though, he wanted his coffee cup kept full, and they kept it full for him. Because back then, you bought a cup of coffee, and it was unlimited refills.
Yeah,
Back in the '60s and '70s, and
still is.
it was
Well, down here it still is.
well, it is it depends on where you go now. But back
Hmm.
in the mid '70s, they in California anyway, when I was in the Navy, you get one refill, then you had to buy a second cup because there was a
No,
coffee shortage. It was due to a coffee shortage. Coffee went up. Now, once the shortage ended, the coffee price didn't go down, but they started giving you more refills. The price stayed up, and I always gave. After the coffee price went up, I started giving a 50-cent tip, and coffee was less than 50 cents. But I never, even at $1, I just always gave a 50-cent tip for a cup of coffee, whether I had one cup or many cups. And then I started giving $1 when it really started going up. Because as you know, probably know Jerry, in a lot of places, waitresses don't get paid minimum wage.
nope. It's just the tips, and
They survive off
yeah,
they get a small stipend that they get
yeah.
per hour.
I think it's like two. Well, it used to be like around $2 an hour
Yeah,
plus tips.
it wasn't a whole lot,
No,
but they made most of their money from tips.
from the tips. Yeah.
And so that's why I always try to give a good tip. I worked in a restaurant, but where I worked, they paid everybody minimum wage because they advertised no tipping. By advertising no tipping, they had to pay at least minimum wage.
Yeah.
So the lowest position paid minimum wage, and then each position above that got a little more. I started off at the lowest. I was a busboy, and I got minimum wage, and then I turned into a prep cook, which means I fixed the side stuff and got the main plate ready for the. I worked at a steakhouse at Bonanza, and I got the plate ready for the steaks and stuff. In other words, I fixed the baked potatoes, I fixed the French fries, the garlic bread. Uh, if they were getting a sandwich, I toasted the bun. I fixed I deep fried the chicken. I also deep fried the scallops or shrimp. We had a roast beef that we had. I would be the one that would cut it and put it on the bread. But the steaks was done by the cook. He made a little more than I did. Uh, and then I also later on was a cook, but I was also a dishwasher. I mean, I did every job in the building but run the cash register. And this is a job, like I said, when I was a senior in high school, before I started my senior year, they wanted me to go to school half a day and work full time for them. And then upon graduation, they wanted me to go to Texas. I believe it was in Dallas that Bonanza's headquarters was at, and go to managerial training school and become a assistant manager first. Then you go work your way up. But I turned it down because I've said this on my channel before. I always wanted to go into the military. Now, what branch I wanted to go into would change, but I can never remember a time I did not want to go into the military. And so I ended up going to the Navy, but like I said, that's why I never became a restaurant manager, because it would have interfered with what I wanted to do with my life. Now, I would have made a lot better money doing that, but you got to go with what you want. And like I said, I always wanted to go in the military, so that's what I did. I could not see turning my back on something I wanted all my life. I did over 6 years. And I'm glad I got out, because my father died less than 2 years after I got out, so I got to spend that time with him. If it hadn't been for that, I would regret not doing a career. Just being perfectly honest about it. That's what keeps me from regretting getting out. My father was sick already when I got out. So, did you sing the song, Larry, in the Navy? In the Navy? No, I didn't. No,
That
no,
was after.
that was after.
Yeah, that song came out maybe late 70s.
I was in the Navy until the late 70s, but I think it was later that. But yeah, that was a very popular song around the time I got out. The Village People, but it was not when I was in. I think it was shortly after I got out. And there was YMCA by them. It was really popular.
Yeah, the Macho Man.
Macho Man, yeah. But like I said, all that came out after, I want to say, early 80s, if I remember right. And I was already out of the Navy. I got out of the Navy in 78. I went in 72, got out in 78. My father died in 80. And, but like I said, though, so I'm glad I got out for that reason. It also let me spend more time with my older brother before he passed away, because he passed away in, I want to say, 88. He wasn't that old. It was either 87 or 88. I want to say 88. I'd have to stop and figure it out. But he was only about 37 when he passed away. Now, my younger brother, he passed away in 2015. He was 56. And like I said, my dad was 61, so I've outlived all of them. My mom was 98. Her older brother lived to be 92. Her dad lived to be 92. His dad, her granddad, who I'm named after, he lived to be about 92. I'm named after her granddad for one reason. I missed his birthday by one day.
Well,
actually, about a little over 3 hours, or about 3 hours. I was born about 9 o'clock on the 6th at night on the 16th, and his birthday was the 17th. So that's how close I came to being born on his birthday. Now, she named me Larry instead of his name was Lawrence. My mom thought Lawrence was stuffy, and she didn't care for the name, so she gave me his nickname, and my real name is Larry because of that. So yeah, I was almost on his birthday.
Yeah.
And now like I said, I knew him. He died. My great grandpa, he died. What was it? A couple of years before I went in the Navy, a year or two maybe. It wasn't long before I went in the Navy. So yeah, it was. That was the last time I saw one of my cousins from. He was from the Illinois area, but he was home from Vietnam, and then he was going back for I think his 5th tour in Vietnam. He was married to a Vietnamese woman, And I can't say he died. I just never saw him again because we weren't that close. He came home from Grandpa's funeral, and I hadn't seen him in years before that. I don't know if I'd ever seen him before that. And so a lot of my family members on my grandfather's side, not my grandmother's side, my grandfather's side, they weren't really close as far as getting together. And now you could go visit them, and they would put you up, feed you, and have a great time. But they didn't like going to somebody else's house. They always wanted you to come over to their place, and they really weren't that big on family reunions. Now my mom's side of the family, my mom's mother's side of me, they get together a little more often. That's like I said, they're having a reunion on the August 3rd this year. Probably be a Saturday. I'll have to look. I haven't looked yet. One of my sisters called and told me about it. So I'll make vacation plans to go back home in August for the family reunion and see some cousins I haven't seen for a while and visit with my mother. Hopefully she'll be well enough to attend the reunion. That depends on how she's doing because you have to, hello, Jane C. How you doing? Welcome. Jane, if you don't see it, if you just type in LLL on my Nightbot will drop your channel if you have a channel. And we'll give you a monitor. We appreciate you liking it. But like I said, if you just type in 3 L's, LLL, if you have a channel, which sure says you do, my Nightbot will drop a link to your channel. And so we're glad you came. Anybody that wants to come up besides Jerry, come on up. Jerry and I will talk for it until Jerry decides he wants to shut it down.
But yeah, be another probably 15 minutes or so.
That's what I figured. I know it's getting close to time for you to go to bed or go inside because it's dark.
Yeah, it'll get dark here in about 15 minutes, I believe.
That's what I said, because of the dark.
Yeah, they'll change the time next month, sometime next month.
Yeah, but I'm trying to decide whether, because if I don't change my time that I do the live stream, so I'll probably change my time to 8 o'clock because it'll still keep it the same time in the Philippines.
Yeah.
And it'll keep it the same time where you're at once we change the clock. So it won't affect us by me changing. But if I don't change, then it makes it earlier in the morning in the Philippines. And a lot of them are just getting up and getting around, getting their kids ready and fixing breakfast and starting to get ready to go to church. And I just think it'd be easier for me to change my schedule.
That 1 hour makes a difference.
It does. I mean, especially when you got a family, I'm a single man with no kids. So in other words, no grandkids. I don't have to worry about anything.
Nope.
And I'll just push it back an hour and we'll do it that way. Try to make it as easy as I can on my subscribers. It keeps the same time for us. Well, basically the same, not the same time, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah. It's still evening here, but
it'll still be afternoon, late afternoon for you, and evening here.
Not as early.
Yeah.
What is it? Spring forward.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, but like I said, it'll be Saturday for us instead of Sunday morning. And so, just try to do that. Try to keep it going. But like I said, we're just going to do what we got to do to try to help everybody out. And yes, Jane, in case you noticed, my hat up there is black and this one's not. That's my winter hat because that's too warm to wear outside during the summer and too warm to actually wear it here. I could wear it, but it's a little warm for it. So I bought this one, but it's got too many holes in it, so I just wear it for this live stream. I got another one that's got fewer holes that I wear outside during the summer. I like to wear hats because, well, I have a a family history of skin cancer, and so by wearing these hats, it helps block the sun. It helps keeps the chance of getting skin cancer away, keeps it down. My hands right now, I don't think you can see it. The red spots in my hands, those are all precancerous spots that I've treated. I did the forehead last year. I had quite a few red spots, are not as noticeable now. So, like I said, it's something I really got to worry about. And this shirt here, I bought this shirt. It's like wearing sunscreen. It's a summer shirt, very light, but it blocks the sun. And it's like it putting on SP50. And so I started wearing these things last year. I got some T-shirts, the same thing. They're called swim shirts, but I wear them as T-shirts. The more sun I can block, the better off I'll be. And so that's what we'll do. And we'll keep that going. But so yeah. But we're missing a few people we normally get. I don't see Tim here yet, and he may not make it today. I don't know.
Yeah,
But
he would have been here. He's
he's
usually one of
usually, I would say, yeah, usually he's here by now. So
yeah,
probably has something going on, which is fine.
yeah, he's one of the first ones in.
Yeah, well, Dan's probably still over in Thailand. The last time I looked at any of his vlogs, he is. So he doesn't make it usually while he's over in Thailand.
No, good.
He made it once, but like I said, it's very rare when he's in Thailand to make it, which I don't blame him. He's traveling. He's like I told him. I said, enjoy your vacation for retirement. Well, when he went to Thailand, that's what I told him. Because it's a vacation from what you normally do, and he's retired, so it's a vacation from his normal routine, which is retirement, and he's doing something different. So it's like me. Like I said, I'll have. It depends on how I handle this. I may have one bill paid off next month. I might do it the month after. By the end of the year, I'll have everything paid off but my car and my living expenses. And then, like I said, I want to work 2 more years to save up the money. So when I move to the Philippines, if I still have my health, I'll have the money to look around and try to find a place I'm comfortable with, and then settle down somewhere. And if I decide I can't take, let's be honest about it. It's been years since I've been in the Philippines. I may not be able to handle the differences. I may not be able to take it. I think I can. I do believe I can. But I got to have the money to come back here if I can't. You got to have.
The weather's what you gotta acclimate first.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm not worried. It's not the weather. I'm worried about the difference in lifestyle, the difference in, here, if we want something, we get it immediately. And I know that's not going to be over there.
Yeah, no.
There's going to be a lot of, we don't have that in stock. There's going to be a lot of, not today. I have to do it another day. And can I handle that? That's what I'm talking about. The difference in lifestyle. Here, I go in and they have it. If they don't, the next place does. There's none of this, it just, the availability of everything is just so different. And I know that, and knowing it here doesn't mean you can take it. I think I can. I'm a pretty patient person. I always have been a very patient person. But we'll find out. And the weather, oh, believe me, I'm from the Midwest. The summers in the Midwest can get hot and very humid.
Yep.
And so I can adjust to that. Now, where I'm at now, it doesn't get that way. They think it does, but it doesn't. It's nothing like back in the Midwest, and probably nothing like Texas, But so I mean, like I said, I'll be able to take it. But the weather I can take. That's the rain. I can handle that. But can I handle the lifestyle difference? I hope I can. I really do find that appealing. Not out of stock all the time, but just not in a rush, not in a hurry. I want to try that. I've been working for 55 years, And I mean, there have been some time frames where I wasn't working, but I was doing something else. I was either because there was times when I was in school I didn't work, uh, and I'm not talking high school. I went to college for a while, and I
Yeah.
didn't work, but college is work. So I mean, it just didn't pay you. You paid for it,
Yep.
but it still worked. You know, and so I've been pretty much working since I was 15 years old. Very little time off from work. I did take a couple. Did take about a month and a half off. No, about 2 months off. Uh, but I had high school, so about a month and a half after high school, I took off from no work, no school. Went up and visited some cousins, and came back home and knocked around, and then went in the Navy. So there was about a month and a half there. I got graduated with my. Thank you, Melanie. We appreciate you being there. I'm not sorry to hear you're not feeling well. I understand. When you're not feeling well, it's hard to watch the screen. Uh,
Yes. Hope you feel better.
yeah,
And in speedy recovery.
I got something here. I had my chat on one of my phones froze up, so I had to shut the chat down and then open it back up because I noticed it didn't have what was up here on the other phone. Uh, but yeah, that's no problem, Melanie. It's understandable. Well, I know when I don't feel well, it's tough to do things, and it does affect the way you think and the way your concentration and depending on what's wrong, it can affect your eyesight, and especially like if you got a headache or something like that. I mean, or if your sinus problem can affect your eyesight too. I uh, I have allergies, but that doesn't normally affect my eyesight, but it will affect my nasal passage and stuff like that. Uh, we go through all that. It's understandable. But oh wow, it sounds like you got a bad cold. Hopefully, it's just a bad cold. But the fever makes me think maybe you got some flu. Make sure you take care of yourself, Melanie. We don't
Yeah.
like hearing that. Back pains, fever, runny nose, hard cough. Uh, yeah. So you make sure you take care of yourself. Melanie, for those of you that don't know, is a longtime follower. I met Melanie through her. Uh, I don't think you're related to Minnie, Ma'am Minnie from Dan and Minnie. Uh, but now Dan, a lot of the followers I have, I met through Dan. Uh, so, and then there's other. Well, then I met him through ABCM, LV, uh, Crystal. Started going other ways, but it started with Dan and Chris and Sabu. Uh, although some of those followers hadn't been in for a while. Although I did hear from one of the JLBs this week. He made a comment in my uh, on one of the things I put up saying hi, but none of them's been in the chat for a while. But that's all right. Dodger Blue hadn't been here for a while. And like the JLBs, all the JLBs and Dodger Blue I met through Chris and Sabu. I met Dan through Chris and Sabu. Sammy comes in once in a while, Sammy Chavez. I met her through Dan. Same thing with Roger. Roger listened to me, Robert. And but like I said, it just that's how you meet people. You meet them through somebody else that you meet, and then you meet more, and then you get to know some of their people, and it's just one big happy conglomerate of uh, uh, interaction with other people. And you'll find some that actually like what your content, some won't, and that's fine. I mean, nobody is for everybody.
Nope. Mm.
Oh, that's right. I forgot you had a baby there. I remember you when you were pregnant, but 5 months already? Woo. Melanie, I'm going to check something here real quick. Now, Melanie, could you put your PayPal information on the chat for me real quick? I'm not sure if I got it. I want to send you a little bit of money to help out with you and the baby. You need some medicine. I can't send you a lot, but I will send you some. Yeah, Melanie, give me your PayPal account if you have one. I'm going to send you a little money so you can get some medicine for yourself. And I can't send a lot, but I'll send you some. If you have a PayPal account or a PayPal account that I can send money to for you. So if you do that for me, I'll get you some money sent to you. Either that or I'll have to find some other way to get it to you later on. If Dan was around, I'd send it to Dan, but he's not around.
Yeah, usually when I send, I send it through Gcash.
Well, I don't see. I've never been to the Philippines, and you cannot set up Gcash here in the States.
Nope,
Otherwise, I'd send it Gcash.
You have to use a provider.
Hey, Gomez, how you doing?
You have to use a transfer. One of those companies.
Yeah, I use PayPal.
Yeah, I don't have a PayPal account, so
I have PayPal, and
I just send it through Gcash.
Like I said, unless you go to a country that'll let you do it.
Yeah,
no. The United States won't let you set up a Gcash. So
you know how Dan always had mentioned he got kicked out of this company, kicked out of that one, and so forth. I got kicked out of two of the ones that he mentioned. I use a third one that he mentioned, and that's the one that I use. I'll just send it out that way.
If I could set up a Gcash account, I would.
Yeah, same here.
But I can't.
No.
They won't let you do it. I have a Venmo account, which I really don't use. I used it for a short period of time because I was doing some things for a friend of mine, and they were paying me back through Venmo. So I set it up so I could get the payment back. And then, but I already had PayPal, and that's what I use. I just use PayPal for everything.
And I didn't buy a cell phone. I didn't buy me a cell phone when I was there in December because all I was using is the Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
So there was no need for me to have a phone.
Yeah. Well, I understand. I mean, I would love, like I said, with my mom, I don't want to be that far away. I would love to go over for vacation for, a couple. Like I said, I get 3 weeks a year. I'd go for 2 or 3 weeks. I would love to do that. But like I said, I'm trying to set myself up for retirement. So with my mom still alive, I'm not going until, well, let's be honest about it. I probably won't go until I move and try it out that way. The only way I would go and not move is, well, if I hit, I do this scratch off ticket they have here in New York. They have this one Win for Life. It's $1,000 a week. I don't buy them every week. Every once in a while I'll buy a couple. Matter of fact, this last group I bought, I won $2. But that's what it cost for one ticket. So I won one of the. I bought 3 tickets. I won one of them back.
That'd be nice. $1,000 a week. Well, here would be like about, because of the income tax, be about $800 or so after taxes, after paying Uncle Sam.
I'm going to tell you, Melanie, I'm not sure what my watch hours is. for the mine gives it to me in the month, but you're talking year. I'd have to see if I can change that.
I'm gonna log off, Larry. It's getting late already and dark and cold.
All right. Well, I'm not sure. Well, then, Jerry, I hope y'all come back into the chat here in a little bit. And now, Melanie, I still haven't got your. I don't think I got 4,000 watch hours. I might have for the year. Mine gives it to me by the week or the month. I'm not worried about trying to monetize myself. Now, Melanie, I do need your PayPal information if you have it. Otherwise, we'll have to figure out something else. And we got Mel coming up. Hello,
Hi,
Mel. How you
Larry.
doing?
No, I'm just lying down.
I see that. I hope you get better now. But like I said, I wanted to send you some money for medicine, but I don't
Thank you
have
so
your
much.
I don't have your PayPal. I need your PayPal information.
Thank you so much, Larry. I already sent you on my on your messenger.
Would you send it to, on the chat? I mean the messenger.
Yeah.
All right, I'll have to look at that later. Then I won't be able to do it right now.
No, it's okay. No rush. Thank you so much. Good morning, guys. Hi, Jerry. Where are you?
I'm glad to see Jerry stayed in.
Where are you? You come up again.
No, he went inside because it was getting to where he lives. It was getting cold, and he wanted
Did
to
you
go
check
back
your
inside.
Did you check your watch hour already?
I don't check. I don't know how many watch hours I have. Mine gives it to me by the week or the month.
Maybe
I
you
have to
already
figure out how to
passed
switch it. I have to figure out how to switch it by the year.
Maybe you already passed your watch hour, so you can work your subscribers, so you will be monetized soon. Good
I don't know.
morning,
I'm
Jerry.
not. I'm not interested in getting monetized, Melanie. I really am. I'm not. I
How are you?
I just like I said, trying to figure out. Like I said, for me, I do this because I enjoy it. I enjoy YouTube, especially. I really like doing live streams. Hey, we got South Texas coming back up.
Yeah, because it's just street.
Jerry's inside now, though. See?
Yes, inside the house because it's cold outside. Hey, Melanie,
It's
hope you
just
feel better.
it's just a stress reliever. Live stream is a stress reliever, right?
Mike asked me a question of how many cats. There's a whole bunch. I can't see the chat whenever I go in the stream.
Yeah.
Since I'm using a phone, it's cell phone.
Yeah,
You
I
can't see the
understand.
chat.
Why? What are you doing? What are you doing, Jerry?
Almost getting ready for bed. It's
Mm.
it's 7 p.m. Dito.
Jerry goes to bed early, but he gets up early. He gets up around 4 o'clock in the morning, 4:30, isn't it, Jerry?
Yep. Usually 4:10, 4:20.
Yeah. So Jerry gets up really early in the morning.
Excuse me, guys.
So, like I said, now I'm the kind of person that I like getting up later. I get up around 5 though because I have to be at work at 7.
Excuse me, Larry. I will I will go bye for now. I need to rest first. I will in the background.
All right. But you did send me your PayPal information by messenger, right?
Yeah, so
Okay.
bye
I'll
everyone.
take care of it.
I will stay in the background, Larry.
Like I
Bye
said,
everyone. Bye, Jerry.
Right?
all right.
Inat.
I'm so
Melanie.
haggard. I'm so haggard right now because I'm sick. Thank you so much.
Inat.
Bye.
Bye now.
Bye.
Thanks for coming up. We appreciate it. And so, like I said, that's what anybody wants to come up, more than welcome to come up. Uh, I do really like having people come up and talk, and they can talk about whatever they want, as long as they're not being rude to somebody else or being vulgar. And like I said, come up and tell us about your channel. Uh, but if you don't,
Yeah.
that's fine. Well, Jerry and I sat here and talked till he's ready to go to bed.
Yeah, I'll be signing off here shortly.
I figured as much because, like I said, I know you like to go to bed early.
Yeah, I'm just used to that.
Oh, I know. We've talked about that before. I'm used to staying up late. As a kid, I never wanted to go to bed at night, and I never wanted to get up in the morning.
Yeah, no, it was the opposite for me as a kid. As a teenager, growing up with my grandparents, bedtime was at 7 p.m. and wake up time was always by 6. But what would wake me up would be the coffee pot, the water boiling.
Yeah, it's 8 o'clock here, or just a little after. It's about 8 o'clock, 8:01 according to my cell phone, and that's
Yeah,
in the PM. So I
7
know it's
oh.
it's 9:01 in the Philippines, and so like I said, now we will change our clocks again here next month, and when we do, I'll keep the time the same for the Philippines, but I'll change it here for us. Uh, so like I said, I try to keep things as even kill as I can for my viewers. It'll still be the same time amount of time difference between here and the other places, but it'll just be an hour later that we come up and go do this. I know that'll be tough on Jerry.
It's, yeah, a little bit, but not too rough because I can always be there half an hour.
Yeah. Well, like I said, it might help. It might help with the people in California,
Yes,
like with
Pacific time
Dodger
zone.
Blue. Yeah, like Dodger Blue. He's in California, so it might help with some of them.
Ed, I'm trying to remember Ed Dinoy. Is he in Cali? No, he's in.
Uh, he's
I
in
think so.
Vegas. I mean, Nevada. He's in Nevada.
Vegas. Okay,
At least
Pacific
that's
time
where he
zone.
was. It was in Vegas area.
Yeah.
Hey, Tim, how you doing, man? Tim just made it in.
Oh, better late than never.
Yeah. Come on up, Tim. Join us.
Yes, because I'm about to sign off.
Yeah, because Jerry's about ready to go.
Yeah, I'm log off. Well,
But,
have a good night or day, morning.
you have a good night's sleep there, Jerry.
Thank
Take
you.
care of yourself.
Likewise. Bye.
That's all right, Tim. But like Jerry said, it's better late than never. If you like, come on up and we'll talk for a while. I don't know if you saw Melanie. She was up here for a little bit. And so she's not feeling well. She's got a fever, a cold. Well, she's got a fever, a bad cough, back aches. So, runny nose. So she came up for a little bit. And, she's got that 5-month-old baby at home. I knew she was pregnant, but I forgot that she already had the baby. To tell you the truth, I forgot about that. And so we're going to try to help her out a little bit. Like I said, with a cold and stuff. I'm glad everybody came. Tim, I got the Nightbot fix. So if you want to drop in 3Ls, it'll drop your link, and so everybody can check your channel out. I was hoping some others would come up like Exact or there you go. See, Tim, it was working a lot better than last week, isn't it? I had to go back. What I had to do to let you know is I went back in and reinstalled it. Yeah, all the information was still there, it just had to be reinstalled for some reason. And I don't recall uninstalling it, but it was. I went in there and and reinstalled it, so it took care of it. I'm glad it did. I wasn't sure until I got it up, and I used my Ninja channel, typed into 3Ls, and it kicked it up, so I knew it was fixed. Because that's the only way you can find out is to try it. And like I said, I did go ahead and re-put it back in, and hopefully everything will be just like it was. So anyway, that's what's going on. We got that taken care of. Like I said, Tim, you missed this. I plan on going home in late July and to early August. I just found out tonight. One of my sisters called and told me that one of our cousins is wanting to set up a family reunion on my mom's side, on her mother's side, for August 3rd. So I got to be home before the 3rd so I can be there for the family reunion. I'll see some cousins I haven't seen in a while. Even when I go home, some of these cousins I don't see that often because I'm only home for a week or two, and I'm always visiting my mother and the cousins I'm the closest to. My cousin George and his family, and my best friend Dave Tarr back home. So unless we get together, I don't get to see the other cousins that much now. My oldest sister, she goes back, she sees these cousins a little more because they're closer to her age. Most of these cousins aren't my age. They're now. When I was home last time, we had a family get together at my cousin George's house, so I got to see some cousins I usually don't get to see, and so that was nice. I got to see my cousin, Laura's daughter Lena, and her three kids, and then I'm trying to remember. Oh my God, I know her name and it's just not coming to me. Isn't that terrible? She's a cousin that's my age. She's a Price, which is on my mother's side. Like I said, the family that does get together once in a while, and her son, and like I said, my cousin, and then his kids and his grandkids. They were there, so we had a great time visiting. And so, and then I got to see my late uncle's wife, which I usually get to see her when I go home. She's pretty close with my sisters, and so yeah, it just it's you don't when you go home for only a week or two, you don't always get to see everybody because people are on vacation, they're gone somewhere, uh, they got something going on that they can't get together. Uh, so it's nice that if you know there's going to be a family get together, a lot of them will plan on being home at that time instead of going somewhere else if they can. And so I'll get to see a few more cousins this time. I don't know if the Lee family will get together. If we get together, it's in usually that same weekend or around that same weekend. And yes, Melanie, it's nighttime. It's about 8:08 at night, which would make it 9:08 your time in the morning. So it's Saturday night, a little after 8 in the morning at night. Well, my family, I grew up having family reunions, especially on my dad's side. Uh, my dad's side would get together every year for years. Uh, Now his mom was she was a mischievous little old lady. My dad's side of the family, we usually had squirt gun fights, water gun fights. Hey, Simply Nanette, how you doing? And she would be the one that would start it. My grandmother Lee. She always had one of these little squirt guns that you could palm in your hand and hide it. And no, I'm off on Sundays, Melanie. I'm off on Sundays. So anyway, hey Mingay, how you doing? But anyway, she would hide that gun, and she was very good with it. She'd hit you when you're not looking, she'd squirt you, and then just look as innocent as she could. And she just had a blast shooting people, acting like she wasn't the one doing it. And all of us would either have squirt guns or go buy squirt guns, and we'd have squirt gun fights. And so we always had a blast. And then we used to go down to the Spring Mill State Park in Indiana, which is in the southern part of the state, until my grandma got a lot older, and then we started having it in Lafayette, Indiana, which is where she lived. And then after she passed, they started having it over in Avon. They pronounced it Avon, Indiana, which is a suburb of Indianapolis, because that's where the oldest members of the family lived, in that area. So we always tried to have it closer to the oldest people so they wouldn't have to travel as far. I haven't been to a Lee family reunion in quite a while. It started getting to be fewer and fewer people I knew. Most of the ones I knew were passing away. Plus, I usually don't go home in August because that's the hottest month of the year. I try to go either like June or September when it's cooler. It's still warm, but it's cooler. You don't have that heat and humidity, which I'm really not used to anymore. Now, when I lived back there, it was different. You got used to it. I can remember living back home and it didn't get below 90, even at night, for a whole month. And now usually it would be 90s for during the day for most, and then the 80s there are upper 70s at night. And hey, Jaylene, how you doing? Welcome. And so we would have a lot of hot days, and then the nights were cooler. But I always try to have air conditioning so you can help it make it better. Now, Jaylene, Mingay, Simple Nanette, any of you that, if you happen to have a channel, just type in LLL. Don't type in anything else, just 3 L's. And my Nightbot will drop your channel link. And it's all set up. You just don't put anything before or anything after. Just type in 3 L's. And my Nightbot will drop your link for you. And if any of you want to come up and talk, come on up. I had Mel up here earlier. Jerry was here. Jerry, I call South Texas home, was here earlier. So I'm glad to have any of you come up that want to come up. We'll keep talking. And now Melody's not feeling that well, but she came up for a little bit. We're glad she did. It's always good to have company. Most of you know I like to talk to other people. Yeah, I'm gonna have to shave tonight. Maybe not tonight. Maybe I'll do it tomorrow. But I take my mouth shut in case a lot of you I've already told I have sleep apnea, and I use a machine to sleep. But a lot of times my mouth will open up, so I've been taking tape, putting it over. The mouth still may open a little bit, but it doesn't open up where the air is not going out that way. It helps me sleep better. And they have this certain kind of tape that's made for that. I wish it would actually keep my mouth shut, but it doesn't. Keep it shut all the way. So I'll try something else. And like I said, since I started using the tape, I have been getting a little bit better sleep, so that helps. But yeah, you always got to look for whatever you can do. I haven't heard anything from Edward for a while. He was supposed to have a surgery on his eyes because he couldn't see. He was having a real hard time seeing, so that's the last I heard from him. I haven't got a hold of him in a while. I'll probably have to try to get a hold of him again. I have him on Messenger. I'll probably have to send him a message to see how he's doing and let him know everybody's asking about him. But yeah, he's got some surgery he needs to get things taken care of so he can start getting around better. So we'll see what's going on there later. I'll try to find out before next weekend. And Now, next weekend will be the start of March, and that will be the 2nd of March. And on the 3rd of March, which will be in that Sunday in Philippines, will be 25 years since I quit smoking. I quit smoking on March 3rd, 1999. The same year I took vacation and went to China. I went to China in August that year. And I went for 3 weeks. And let me tell you something. It was hot there in August too. Hot and humid. And but I wore shorts and sleeveless shirts and stuff like that. And now a couple of the guys went with me. One guy had corduroys, and now those of you in the Philippines probably don't know what corduroys are. They're a heavy pants. They are not good pants to wear in heat and humidity. They are some of the worst pants you can wear. I think they're worse than blue jeans for that kind of weather. I used to wear corduroys back when I was younger, but I wore them for the winter time, and they help keep your legs warmer. But so it's just you when you're going somewhere, you really got to make sure you how should I say this? Take in the weather consideration. If you know you're going somewhere going to be really hot, take light clothing, something like this. Like I said, it's long sleeve, but it's very light. It's made for the summer to block the sun. It's a very light material. It's like those T-shirts I wear that are swim shirts. When I go to the Philippines, stuff like this and those are what I'm going to wear. I'm not going to wear sleeveless or short sleeve shirts. I'm going to wear long sleeve shirts that are very cool, very comfortable, because I want to block the sun. Because, like I said, I'm susceptible to skin cancer, so I got to take precautions against it. I will wear a hat all the time. Probably more of a summer hat than what I've been wearing. Probably will be a cowboy hat, although I may wear those as well. But it'll be something that will more like I wear now during the summer. But that's something you got to consider when you're going wherever you're going. You got to take the weather consideration. I will take an umbrella. I know in the Philippines I call it a sunbrella because a lot of Filipinos use umbrellas to block the sun. So that's why I call them sunbrellas instead of umbrellas. I'll use it mostly for rain. But let's be blunt. I don't plan on getting out in the rain a whole lot when I go over there. I mean, there'll be times I'll have to get out. That's why I want the umbrella. When it's raining really hard, I prefer just to hunker down at home and just stay there. Same thing here when it's really cold. If I can, I just hunker down and stay here. But you got to be able to be prepared for that. You got to, and I understand that occasionally you have to get out in it. You just no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So you got to be prepared for that as well. As far as pants goes, I'll probably will take some cargo shorts, but I want to look into linen long pants because they're more of a summer pant. They're very light, and so I'll look into those before I go. Because, like I said, I got to take precautions. The one thing about my legs, they're very white because they don't really see the sun a lot. And they will see the sun more if I wear cargo shorts in the Philippines because depending on where I live, if I live somewhere where I need a bike to get around, I don't want to wear cargo shorts on a bike. My legs will get sunburned, and I just don't want to do that. I'd rather get the linen. Monterey vlog, how you doing, Monterey? You're new here. Welcome. By the way, Monterey, if you have a channel, which it looks like you might have, type in LLL. Don't type in anything before or after, just 3 L's, and my Nightbot will drop your link. Okay? That's all you got to do. Just type in 3 L's, and we'll get you going. And I just gave you monitor status. I try to give everybody a monitor status. And everybody here is friendly. If you're comfortable with it, you can come up and talk. I like having people come up, and you can come up and tell everybody about your channel or talk about whatever you want, as long as you're being polite to each other and not derogatory. You're more than welcome to come up. Anybody is. Melanie came up earlier. I had Jerry, I call South Texas Home, up earlier. Tim keeps telling me you're going to come up, but he hasn't yet. One of these days I'll get Tim up here. And but yeah, I don't know how you found me, but you're more than welcome to come up anytime you want. I don't know if you're from Crystal or ABCM or LV, and or Larice is here, I think, or she was. I know Larice has helped me out some. Crystal has helped me out a lot. So has ABCM and LV both. Charmaine has helped me out, so it could be Charmaine. I've had a lot of people help me out. I am a small channel. I got, last time I looked, I have like 750 followers. But that's all right. I probably have enough hours to get monetized, but I'm not interested in doing that right now. I have enough trouble. I work 40 hours a week, and I do this. So I just don't know if I want the hassle of being monetized right now. I know I don't want it right now. Someday I may decide I want to get monetized, but I'm not doing this to be monetized. I'm doing this because I want to retire in about 3 years, counting this year. So in 2027, I want to retire at the end of that year or thereabouts. So what I want to do, not 2027, 2026, excuse me, I misspoke. Towards the end of 2026, 2027 is when I want to, somewhere in there, late 2026 to early 2027 is when I want to go over to the Philippines, if I can. And I don't know how much you know about my, that will all depend on my mother and my health. My mom's 98 years old. She'll tell anybody that wants to listen that she doesn't want to see 100. And I tell her, Mom, that's not up to you. That's up to the good Lord. And she goes, she knows, but she thinks the Lord knows she don't want to see 100. So we'll see. And then if she's passed by the time I'm ready to move, it's going to depend on whether my health is good enough. I'm 70 years old. By the time I'm ready to move, I'll be 73. And I'll turn 71 later this year. And so all that will come into play. Right now, most people don't think I'm anywhere near as old as I am. I don't act it. I get around very well. I'm pretty healthy for my age. I know people who are younger than me that look and act older and not as healthy as I am. Like I said, both my mom's dad and granddad both lived to be 92. Her older brother lived to be 92. So there's longevity on my mom's side of the family. I've already outlived my father, both my brothers. Although my dad's mom lived to be about 88. So, right now I believe I'll be able to go. I'm planning on being able to go. That is my plan A. Plan B is if I can't go, then to find some place where I can live without working here in the States, which I will find it really disappointing, but I'll have to do what I have to do. I might be able to stay here where I'm, well, not in this apartment, but maybe in this area. Not to change apartments, but I'd have to go to a senior housing, and I really don't want to do that. But if I have to, I have to. I know a friend of mine. I've known her for 35 years. We're just good friends. We've never been anything but friends. I met her through a friend. She was dating somebody I knew. When they broke up, I was in the friend zone. A lot of you people know how that goes. If you don't, you know each other so well that you're never going to date. It's never going to happen. And that's with us. We're great friends, but we'll never be anything but friends. I know she would love for me to stay around here. I am her best friend in this area. She has another great friend that's back where she's from, but that's not here. So, but I can't put my life on hold for a friendship. Uh, I've been doing this for so many years. I got to think of something I want to do to make me happy. And that's to go somewhere warm, that's warm year round. Uh, I don't know if I've never been married. I'll tell anybody that wants to know I've never been married. I have no children. I don't know if I'll ever get married. I have nothing against it at my age if I meet the right woman, but I'm not going there looking for the right woman. If I find her, that's fine. But that's not my goal. My goal is to go somewhere where I can live, enjoy my life, enjoy the weather, and live on my Social Security by itself. And that's easier to do in the Philippines than here in the States. There's places in the States I can live on what I got coming in, but I wouldn't enjoy my life as much. And that may be what I have to settle for. Like I said, that's settling. That's not what I want. And so we'll see. No one knows for sure what's going to happen. And all of you that's not said hi to Montera Blanc, say hi to Montera Blanc. She's new here. It's the first time I've seen her. But we gave her a monitor and she can drop her link anytime she wants, and she's still here. And we're hoping she's doing well. We hope she enjoys her life. So, yeah, we're just trying to enjoy ourselves, trying to see what we can do, where we can go, and what we can be. Thank you there, Tim. One of the things I think I told you last week, some of you might not have heard, and as a lot of you know, I'm working at Amazon here in the area where I live as a security guard. It was snowing earlier, Melanie, and it was minus 6 degrees Celsius. So yes, now yesterday was plus, what was it? Plus 12 Celsius, something like that. It was in the mid to upper 40s. Today it's minus 6 Celsius. It may be even colder now because it's later, and that was like 24 Fahrenheit. Let me see something here real quick. Hey, it's warmed up. It's only minus 5. Oh, no, minus 6 again. Minus 6 Fahrenheit. And so let's see here what it is. I mean, minus 6 Celsius. Let's see what it is in Fahrenheit. That's 22 degrees in Fahrenheit. So, like I said, it's cold. It was snowing. It was light snow. Oh, Tim, what I wouldn't give for 30 degrees Celsius. I hate the cold. The only thing I hate more than cold is the ice and snow. And because now, Melanie, you would be able to adjust to the cold. Now, there are places that would be very tough to adjust to. There's places that minus 6 would feel warm. Right? I'm not lying. You go to Alaska, some parts of Canada, minus 6 is warm. There's even parts of North America up by Canada that minus 6 would be a warm day. All right, during the winter. But what you do is you get a little more used to it. Some people actually like it. I don't. Uh, but you dress in layers. You buy very warm clothing. They got what they call a ski mask, which you pull down over your face, which helps keep your face warm. I have one. I don't wear it very often, but I do have it for when it gets cold. If I'm going to be like today, I wouldn't wear it just going out and about a little bit today. But if I was going to be out there for long periods of time, I'd put it on a day like today. But if I'm just going to be out there for a few minutes, I wouldn't put it on. To me, I can take that cold. I can take it. I just don't like it. But then again, I've lived in cold areas for winter most of my life. Southern California didn't get that cold. And after I was out there for a couple of years, 40 started feeling cold to me, like where Jerry's at. I would agree with him. If I grew up there, 40 or 50 would be cold. But I grew up in the Midwest where, I'm sorry, 16 below Celsius, now you're talking cold. But until you get down in almost to 20 below Celsius, you're not talking real cold to me. It's colder, like I said, 6 is colder than I like. But you start getting down around 16 to 20 below Celsius, which you're talking about 0 below Fahrenheit. Now you're talking cold. And I mean, you're talking bitter cold. And I really do not like the bitter cold. I mean, I can take the teens and the 20s. Don't care for it, but I can take it. Yeah. Like I said, yeah, there's places that get a whole lot colder than what we get around here. I didn't know Crackers I didn't know it got down to 50 below 0 Fahrenheit. But yeah, there's places that get a whole lot colder than where I'm at. And believe me, they can keep that cold. I can, like I said, I can take the 20s, and I can, like I said, I can take down to almost double digit minus in Celsius, like minus 10, minus 15. That I can take. No, I don't like it, but I can take it. But you start getting colder than that, and now you're talking bitter cold. You're talking. You walk out. If you got a mustache, your breath freezes to your mustache or your beard. That's why I got this instead of it won't freeze. But yeah, a mustache, you just get frost, or your mustache just freezes and your breath freezes to it. And you walk in, then it melts, and it's just a mess. But like I said, when it gets that cold, I wear that ski mask to help keep myself warmer. And that you don't stay out very long at all at minus 50 degrees Fahrenheit. Believe me, that is super cold. Whew, that is one hell of a swing there, Tim. That's a 130-degree swing. Whew, that is wicked. That'd be hard to get used to. And that'd be what you call getting sick weather. But so yeah, and people get used to this stuff. That's what's crazy. People live in it and they get used to it. Now, don't mean they like it, but they know how to dress for it. They know how to take it. It's like people that talk about the Philippines, how hot and humid it is. That's because they're not used to it. They didn't grow up with it. And they're thinking, how do people, survive in that? Some people do. They really do. Their average summer temperature may only be 70 degrees. They never get up to the 90s, which is what you guys get into, the 90s and the 100s. They don't get that humidity. And so it would just be brutal to them. Now, like I said, I grew up in an area that we got in the 90s and we got the humidity. Not as often as you guys get it, but I can adjust because I adjusted back then. You dress, you stay where it's cooler, you stay in the shade as much as possible. There's a lot of things you can do to adjust to it. You don't overexert yourself in that kind of weather. Now I know people do because they're used to it, but until you get used to it, you got to be careful. It's like the cold. You got to be careful until you get used to it. a lot of people die of heart attacks during the winter because, well, they're not used to the cold, and they go out and they start shoveling snow, and it puts a big strain on their heart when they're my age if they're not used to it, and it can kill them. It's like the heat can do the same thing during the summer. You'll have people that a friend of my sister Ruth Ann's, guys she worked with, on the hottest day of the year, went and played golf. It was the hottest day that year, at least at that time, up until then. It was in the 90s, high humidity. And he's not in the greatest shape, but anyway, he went out and played 18 rounds of golf, come home, parked his car, got out of his car, and died of a heart attack because he overexerted himself in that weather condition. It just wasn't good for him. It's the same thing. If you got any health problems, you don't want to exert yourself in real bad cold. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, Tim. I mean, you get adjusted. Hey, girly. Tell ABCM thanks for sending you guys. But like I said, now you get adjusted to the weather if you're there long enough, and you've been in the Philippines for a very long time. It depends on how hot it is or how humid. Humidity bothers me more than the heat. Let's be honest about it. But there's days, a fan's good enough. Now, if you want to save money during the day, if you can't take the heat that much, you go to the mall because they always have air conditioning. You go there and people watch. I like to people watch. Get yourself maybe a cup of coffee if you have to. If you don't, But then again, if you go there and buy coffee every day, it might be the one that would cost you just to air condition your own place. But there's things that you can do. People tell me, there's people that like the winter. They'll say, well, I can always get dressed up and put more clothing on. And I can say, well, I can always take more clothing off and go swimming. I mean, it's just what do you prefer? Do you prefer to be overdressed or or a little less dressed? I prefer the heat. Some people like the cold. I'm just not one of them. And I haven't liked the cold since I was a teenager. Oh yeah, Tim, where I'm from, the humidity can be over 60% as well in my home state. Now it's not often it's that high. All right, but I've seen it over 70% humidity in Indiana. But like I said, it's not that often. I've seen the humidity, what they call the humidifier. And for those of you that don't know what the humidifier is, it's the heat and the humidity together decides how hot it feels. So it's the actual heat plus the amount of humidity will tell you what it feels like. I've been in places where the humidity was over 112. I've been in times where the actual temperature was over 100. We're talking back where I'm from. One summer back home, that was so hot and humid that Chicago had so many people dying from the weather. And this is during the summer. They took refrigerator trucks and put the bodies in the refrigerator trucks until they could do the autopsies. The humidity was 112, and a lot of people were older people who were afraid to open up their windows because of the area they lived in. And they were dying from the heat index could be really crazy high. But they were afraid to open up their windows because they were afraid of where they lived. There was a high crime rate. And so they kept the windows shut. They didn't have air conditioning. And I'm not even sure if they had the fans, but even if they did, all they were doing was moving that real hot air around, and they were dying from the heat exposure. They were dying from, they were dying from the heat. And I always wondered why these people stayed where they were at. I know some of these people grew up there and they just said, well, this is where I lived all my life. I'm not moving out. I've I've never felt that way about a place. I mean, my hometown I like here. I liked where I was living at in Leroy, but I've never been one of these people who say, "Well, I love this place so much. I mean, I'm so attached to this place. I'm not going somewhere that's better for me." Uh, it's like, these people, for what they were paying for their rent in Chicago, they can move to the suburbs, have a nicer place, and be able to have air conditioning and spend less money. So it just never made sense to me that these people would move. Now maybe they own their homes, but it's just like, you can sell your home, move somewhere, and live a lot more comfortable and a lot more safety. And to me, that would be more important than living where I'm at. Like I said, when I leave here, I'm leaving here to be more comfortable with the way I live. Uh, I want to be able to live a better life without working. I live a decent life, but I'm working 40 hours a week and still getting my Social Security. That's the only reason I'm living as good as I'm living. If I gave up either one of those two things, I'd be in a lot worse shape. But because I'm doing both, I'm doing all right. This is the best I've done in my entire life. But I don't want to work forever. My grandfather worked till he was in his 80s. Matter of fact, he worked up until about 90. He had a regular job until he was about 80 or a little over. And he only quit that job because they were going to lay somebody else off. And he said, no, the kid needs a job more than I do. Well, like I said, my grandfather was about 80, 82, somewhere in there. And the kid he was talking about was 40 years old and had 3 kids of his own. And he just didn't want that guy to lose his job. So Grandpa went ahead and retired. What he did, he went out, after he retired, he went out and bought a pickup truck and started hauling stuff for people just for something to do. He just couldn't quit working. He had to always be working. I don't want to be like my grandfather. I just don't want to do that. I don't want to work till almost till I die. It's just not what I want to do. I want to try and find out what it's like to be lazy. I've been working. And there's many times where I went to school and worked full time, or went to school and worked 32 hours a week. I've done both of those things. So you're very busy. And there was some times where all I did was go to school or just work. But going to school is work. You got to go to class. You got to study. You got to take the test. And that is time you got to put in. There's not free time. You don't get paid for it, but you got to do it. And it is work, if you ask me. So I've been working since I was 15 off and on. I only had a month or two off here and there that I didn't work at all. Only a few months. So the better part of 55 years, I've worked at least one job. There's times I've worked 2 and 3 jobs, a full 40 hours and a couple of part-time jobs. I've done that as well. I did that during the summer a couple of times. I've also worked 2 jobs during the winter. I did some jobs. So it's just something you do, and it's something I've done. And like I said, most of my life I've not really been lazy. I like the name. I got the name in high school because I had a teacher who thought I was being lazy because I never brought any work in. I was taking an auto shop class, automotive repair, auto mechanics. And I never wanted to be an auto mechanic. I signed up for auto body. And they decided not to offer auto body. Instead of coming back and checking with me to see what I wanted to do, they just automatically put me into an automotive class, auto mechanics class. If I'm interested in repairing the bodies, I've got to be interested in repairing the motors. They couldn't be more wrong. I had no interest in working on a motor, none whatsoever. And so anyway, the teacher would always call me Lazy Larry because I never brought work in. So if somebody needed help, he said, "Go get Lazy Larry. He's got nothing to do." Well, like I said, I went to school full time and I worked 32 hours a week. So I don't really think of myself as lazy, but that's what he called me because I didn't bring work into class. But I didn't own a car, so I didn't have my own car to work on. My dad had a brand new car. He wasn't going to let me work on his car. And both my uncles worked on their own cars. They weren't going to have me do it. So I didn't have any cars to bring in to work on that I knew people. My sisters that owned cars had brand new cars. They didn't need me to work on them. And so whenever somebody needed help, they'd come get me and I'd go help them. That's how I got the name Lazy Larry, because he just told them, go get Lazy Larry. He's got nothing to do. He can help you whenever they needed help. And until I started this channel, I did not use Lazy Larry until, well, I started following Chris and Sabu. And there was it was actually 4 other Larrys, I believe. There was Larry G, Larry B, myself, Larry Lee, and a Larry Outdoors or Larry something else. And like I said, 3 of us, our last names sounded similar. So I changed my name to Lazy Larry. So if somebody wanted to ask, if Chris wanted to ask a question of one of us, he could just see Lazy, and I know who he was talking to. And when I did my first YouTube video, my talking head video introducing myself, I was still going by strictly Lazy Larry. And somebody was telling me they were having a hard time finding me on YouTube. So I did a search of myself doing Lazy Larry. And there was these cartoons about a character named Lazy Larry. And you had to go through 2 or 3 pages of them just to get to me. I mean, you had to go through a lot. So I thought, well, I used to just use my real name, Larry Lee. Let's just add Lee to Lazy Larry and see what happens. So I changed my channel to Lazy Larry Lee, and you type that in. I don't know if you still do, but back then when you typed it in, I was the first thing that popped up. I was the first, so that people could start finding me. And I did a video saying why I changed it to Lazy Larry Lee, which is basically what I just told you. But I did the first one just explaining to people why I used the name Lazy Larry, how I got the nickname, and did a few others. And I kind of enjoyed doing it. And so I did a video asking my followers and my subscribers if they thought I should do a live stream. I don't even think I had 300 followers yet. But I didn't care. I offered to do a live stream. I've been in a couple of live streams as a guest, and I kind of enjoyed it. And my first few live streams, I did it all by myself because I didn't know how to set it up to have other people come up. I think my first one might have been on YouTube. And I enjoyed it. And my first few, I'd do like 3 or 4 hours. And some of you may remember Leonard Lund. And so when I started having guests come up, Leonard was one of my regular guests. And Leonard and I, just the 2 of us, did 4 or 5, even 6 hours on a live stream at a time. And so that's why I started having my own picture and got the expanded package with live stream, because you only get 20 hours free. Well, I was almost doing 20 hours a month without any problem. And I thought, well, I'd rather play safe. Now I could drop it and not have to pay for it because I don't come anywhere near 20 hours. But I'm going to stay with it. Last week I did over 3 hours. That's the longest I've done in a while. We're approaching, how long right now? We're approaching 2 hours right now, which is a pretty good live stream for me. So, like I said, we'll be getting this done. But like I said, I just turned out, I really enjoy doing live streams, especially when I have panels come up and talk with me. I enjoy that immensely. Tim was asking about Edward Beck, Big Mac Daddy. The Mac Daddy used to come up a lot. Dan, from Dan and Minnie's retirement journey. Dan used to come up quite a bit. And there's 4 of us have come up quite a bit back in the day. Now I get Dan once in a while. Jerry will come up. Retro will come in once in a while. Crazy Kid will show up once in a while. We also have Jack Hobson will show up once in a while. And they'll come up and talk for a while. But it doesn't have to be the regular guest. Anybody that wants to come up, I enjoy talking. Mel came up. I enjoyed talking with Mel. I don't get to do that very often. Crystal, I really like Crystal's channel. I wish she'd come up and talk. Her English is very good. Same thing with Elvie. The only time Elvie really comes up is when I'm having a contest. Now my next contest is when I get to 1,000 subscribers. I'll have a celebration, a giveaway for 1,000 subscribers. So that month I probably won't support anybody else. I put most of that money in some extra on my giveaway. Some of you were at my last giveaway when I celebrated my 70th birthday. And I hope everybody that was there enjoyed themselves. I tried to make sure everybody won a little bit of money. So, it was something I enjoyed doing, and I wouldn't mind doing it again. It's not something I can do very often, at least not to the extent I did it at that time. Because I took a couple of months to set that up because I knew it was coming. And Elvie started letting everybody know, hey, look, it's coming up. We're going to be doing this. And she told me what games she was thinking about playing, and I agreed to which games would be played. And like I said, when I get to 1,000 subscribers, we'll set that up again. I still got well over 200 to go to get there, but that's fine. It may not even make it this year. That's all right. Once we get there, we'll do it. But like I said, I do this because I enjoy it. This is as my friend calls it, this is my fun night. I don't go out to the bars. I got a bottle of wine in my refrigerator, and right now it's been there since Christmas, unopened. I don't know when I'm going to open it. I don't drink very much. I just don't do it. I used to, but I don't anymore. I don't even know how long the bottle of wine will last once I open it. And right now, I may just take it up to my sisters and give it to my nephew and his wife because they do drink wine. And maybe we'll take it up there and have it with them. But I'm going to have somebody else drive if I do that because I don't drink and drive. Maybe I'll sit here and drink it by myself sometime. Have a glass here and there until it's gone. I don't know. I haven't decided. I'm not in a hurry and don't care. But so my entertainment is right here. This is my entertainment. And I once in a great while, and I mean once in a great while, I'll go out and get something to eat. Usually I order it, either go pick it up and bring it home or I have it delivered. But to go out and sit in a restaurant, I rarely do that. Like I said, I'm trying to get bills paid off, and I'd rather give that money to something else, do something else with it. I order out about once a week. Like last night, I had a pizza for supper. I finished it off for lunch today. And some of the meals, you guys seen the meals I bought. I put a video up. I thought about showing the pizza sometime, but I haven't done it yet. And yes, it's from Don's Pizza, my favorite pizza place there in Latham. When I order pizza stuff, that's where I order it from. If I want Chinese, there's a place not far from here. And if I don't want to cook it, I order it. I had orange chicken a little over a week ago. That's what I had that week. I went and picked it up. And I was there paying for my food. My friend and her husband came in. She snuck up behind me and gave me a hug from the back. And I was trying to figure out who the heck was grabbing me from behind. And it turned out with her. Like I said, her and her husband was there. And they were picking up their food for I probably got something for her mom too, a vegetarian. Her mom doesn't eat anything, but she's a vegetarian. But her daughter was getting the same thing I got. She told me her daughter was getting orange chicken. I don't know what she and her husband got. But it just, this is my entertainment. Talking with you guys, and like I'll show up in somebody else's live stream in the background, and I'll make some comments. Now, when I changed, like I said before, right now I work at Amazon. Starting in April, I'll be working a different place, and I don't know how much I'll be able to use the cell phone there. Where I'm at now, I can use a cell phone as long as I keep my eye out for to do what I got to do. Now, sometimes I'm very busy. Most of the times I'm not, and they don't care if I use my cell phone because it helps. It keeps me awake, and that's the most important thing. I keep awake and watch the driveway and make sure people aren't coming in that are not supposed to be coming in. And I will go out, or they're not parking in the driveway, because that happens too. And I have to go up and tell them they can't park there. They have to leave. And some days I don't have to go up there once. And other days I have to go up quite a bit. And but most of the time it's just a couple times that day, and that's about it. And then I got to step outside because I'll have some cars come, because I work at a truck gate. And the semis come in, and maintenance people will come in. But sometimes you'll have some vehicles that look like private vehicles. And you have to step outside and make sure they're allowed to come in. If not, you have to tell them that they can't come in that way and tell them where they got to go. Because a lot of times they'll try to come in that way to pick up an employee, and that's not the way you come in for that. Or they're trying to deliver food. You don't deliver it this way. You have to go to a different place. And that's my job. That's what they pay me for. They pay me quite well for it, really. It's the best paying job I've had in many years. If you take in the inflation, I did have a very good paying job back in Indiana when I first got out of the Navy. I had a couple good paying jobs. But this is the best paying job I probably had in over 20 some years. And like I said, I won't give up some of the pay, which is all right with me, because if I don't, I have to lose my vacation. And I'm not doing that. That would mean I couldn't go home and see my mother this year. Or at least I'd have to take the time off without pay. And who knows if they'd let me do that and keep the job. Some places won't. And so we're not going to deal with it. We're just going to stay with the company I'm with. I'll lose a little bit per hour. And that's so be it. I mean, like I said, there's certain things that are more important to me than money. My mother is one of them. And yeah, that I wish my electric bill's over $200 a month, and mine's averaged out for the year. So that means even during the summer months and the winter months, it averages out to a little over $200 a month. It was less than that, but I think the delivery charge has gone up, and so we've adjusted. Plus, I have a tendency to leave lights on that I shouldn't leave on. There are times I leave lights on. I'll come into a room and just leave it on when I walk out until I'm ready to go to bed. And that's can be on for hours and not being used. And so I'm trying to get out of the habit of doing that. That happens especially in my bedroom. I'll come into my bedroom, turn on my light to do something, walk out and leave it on for hours until I'm ready to go to bed. Now if I walk out of here, I turn the lights off. And same thing with my kitchen. I would walk into my kitchen, turn the light on, and just leave it on the rest of the night. That doesn't happen anymore. I got to cut back on my electricity use because my bill did go up about $50 a month. I know that's some people have a whole lot more than I do, but I still don't want to spend that much. I would take the $50 a month in a heartbeat. But like I said, I'm going to be, once I retire working, I'm going to be living on my Social Security, which is not a lot of money. It is for the Philippines. It's a lot of money for the Philippines. if I was a Filipino, it'd be a lot of money. For an expat, it will not be a lot of money. Compared to a lot of expats, I won't have that much. I'll be, if I was a Filipino, I'd be probably considered middle class to upper middle class, but not rich by any stretch of the imagination. Even as a Filipino, I would not be considered rich. But that's all right. I just want to live a comfortable life. I want a nice, clean place. If I do get involved with somebody, I want a place that we can live and enjoy our lives. I don't want to go out to eat all the time. I don't mind cooking. I hate doing dishes though. I don't like doing dishes. I do them, but it's not something I enjoy. But so yeah, I want a place that will be very comfortable. Probably a 1 bedroom. Now, like I said, right now my goal is I'm not going over there to get married. That doesn't mean I won't get married when I get over there. That's not why I'm going over there. I'm not going over there to date some 20-year-old. Not interested in dating a 20-year-old. I'm not looking to be a instant family, but I'm not going to hold it against the woman if she has a kid. I would be more than happy if the kid's fully grown or close to it. I would rather have a teenager if I'm dating a woman, or at least in school already. I would prefer older, but because let's be honest about it, I'm 70-some years old. I mean, I'm not. If they're just babies, I'm not going to see them grown up. The odds are against it. Me seeing them graduate from high school, and I really wouldn't want to be with a woman with that kind of a situation that would be tough to help her out later. It's one thing if you're with a woman whose kids are already grown out on their own, that maybe you can save some money, and if you get if you get married, you can put money back that she can have later for herself. But it'd be awful hard to do that if she's got kids that you're trying to help grow up with what little I'll have. Because you want to make sure they have a good education, so you'd want to send them to a better, probably a private school, unless they happen to be in a very excellent public school, which they do have those. But I also want to live close to a good hospital because of my age. I don't think I need one right now. I only go in a couple times a year for physicals and stuff. That's all I need to go in for. So I don't expect that to change, hopefully. But you want to be prepared in case it does. Like I said, you got to have a plan A, a plan B, a plan C, and a plan D. Plan D is come back home. That's the plan. In other words, a plan of last resort. The plan A is to go to Cebu and try it there and see if Jolene, how you doing? Welcome. Appreciate you coming, Jolene. But like I said, the plan A is to go to Cebu right now and see if I like it there. Plan B and C is to go to a couple different other places and see if I like them. And you can roll those all in together because if I don't like Cebu, I'm going to look around and see if I can find a place I do like. And I mean, there's Dumaguete, Iloilo, up around Leyte. There's a couple areas up there. I mean, but that's what I'll look at later. Right now, and it's subject to change, but right now it's Cebu. But Cebu may turn out to be too large. I may not like it that large or too polluted. But I know I don't want too small. I'm sorry. I'm not a province boy. I like mid-sized cities and maybe a small city, Dumaguete or Iloilo. That'd be a little smaller. Uh, so, like I said, we'll try right now. We'll try Cebu first and see if I can make it there. I may not. I may like it there and just can't afford it. You know. So, like I said, it's stuff that I got to look at, and some of this I can't figure out till I get there. And so, like I said, I just have to keep my options open and check things out. I gotta, be flexible. And like I said, right now I'm not dating anybody. I'm not communicating, like trying to set up a long distance relationship because I won't do that. The main reason is I don't know when or if I'm going. I know I want to go, but that doesn't mean I'm going to go because of my mother. And I know when I want to go, but my mother may keep me from going at that time. Because if she's still alive, I'm not going. And not until after she passes. I'm not trying to be crude or anything like that, but I don't want to be. I'm farther from my mom. If I was choosing where to live right now and was ready to go right now, I would probably move back closer to home. But it would cost me too much to do that right now. I'm not financially in the shape to do it. So I'm just going to stay right where I'm at until I'm ready to leave. Unless I find someplace cheaper out here to live, because it doesn't cost that much to live, move close. But if you move cross country, it costs quite a bit of money. Because you got to pay somebody to pack all of your stuff up, put it in a semi, and move it for you. And that's not cheap. The stuff I have right now, when I leave, I'll either give away or sell if I can sell it. If not, give it away because my furniture's not going with me. I got a real nice sleeper sofa, real nice recliner. I got my bed, chest of drawers. None of that stuff's going with me. Most of my clothes I'll give away. The winter stuff, especially, is all going to be get rid of all that stuff. Because if I have to come back, I'll just buy new. My winter coat's not that expensive compared to trying to take it over there and never use it. So these are all things I'm still trying to figure out exactly how to do it. I know what I want to do, but when I'm going to do it, like I said, that's out of my control right now. I know when I want to do it, but I don't know if I can do it at that time. I know if everything goes right, I'll be set up to do it at that time. That's what I said. That's why I want to get my bills paid off this year. And I want to start saving money. So I won't be giving away more money. I'll give away about the same amount that I give away, and that's it. But I got to save enough money to pay for my flight over, to set myself up in Cebu for a couple months. Angeles City area is an area I would think about. The area that where Steve from Filipino Expat Info Channel is at would be an area I would think about. Dumaguete, Iloilo, not Bye, but there's a place. I'm trying to think of the name of it. Ormoc is a good sized city on the same island as Bye. They got a decent hospital. So, like I said, there's some areas I've thought about. Which areas I'll look at first if Cebu doesn't work out would probably change. I know I want to visit Manila, but I don't want to live in Manila. That's just way too large. But living close to it wouldn't be that. E.T., how you doing, E.T.? Joanne and ET, I didn't tell you guys. My Nightbot, if you just type in LLL, nothing before it, nothing after it, just 3 L's, will drop your link for your channels. All right. So if you want your link dropped, just type in 3 L's. I got it fixed, so it is working. And I'll show you. It can be small letters or capitals. It does not matter. And there you go, ET. It should drop it for you. Yep, there it is. And so, like I said, just drop in the 3 L's. My Nightbot will drop your channel link. And anybody that wants to check you guys out, more than welcome. If you want to come up and talk about your channel, you're more than welcome to come up and talk with me about your channel. Anybody that wants to do it, I enjoy having a panel guest. If you've been on my channel a few times, a lot of times will see me have a guest, and they invite themselves up. I just put the link up, and anybody that wants to come up is more than welcome to come up. I don't say you have to be personally invited. It's just a big old invite to everybody. I am doing well there, ET. I hope you are too. I'm glad to see you say you're doing great. And I'm a little plugged up, but I have allergies that affect me all year round, so I think it's just the allergies. So I'll take some allergy medication here in a little while before I go to bed. Well, decongestion medicine. I took the allergy medicine. No, I'm taking the nasal. I'm behind on my allergy medication. Whoops. That's all right. We'll take it before we go to bed. So that's one of the reasons why I'm a little stuffed up. I didn't take my medication yet, but that's okay. But I'm glad to see you guys made it. Like I said, if you want, come on up. And we appreciate it, Jonathan, that you gave me the thumbs up. We appreciate that. And like I said, we've been going on over 2 hours now. And so we've done, like I said last week, I as long as I've gone in a while, it was over 3 hours. I don't think I'll make it tonight. I might. If any of you guys will come up, we'll make it, no problem. But yeah. Now I don't know if ET if your clocks change or not where you're at. Same thing with you, John Lynn. I think you're in the Philippines. If you are in an area that your clocks don't change, the time will remain the same. Because our clocks will be changing next month sometime, and I will change my time here, so it'll keep the same time in the Philippines. And because right now I start at 8 o'clock in the Philippines in the morning, Sunday morning, but it's 7 o'clock at night where I live. After the time change, I'll start at 8 o'clock at night here, and I'll still be 8 o'clock in the morning on Sunday morning in the Philippines. So I plan on keeping the time in the Philippines the same, because I know a lot of my Filipino subscribers have kids, and they get up, they got to fix them breakfast, get them around, and get ready for church. And so some have to leave for church at a certain time, and they'll leave for that. Others will maybe go later, or maybe they went earlier, come back. And so I try to keep it as for them, because it's Sunday morning for them. I'll try to keep it as close to normal to make it easier on them, so they don't have to adjust what they're doing if they want to come in. It'll be the same thing. Now here in the States, it may help some to come in a little more, like in California. Maybe they can get here a little better. Jerry in Texas, it'll be a little harder on it. He'll still be able to get here, but he won't be able to stay as long, because Jerry's one of these early birds. He likes to go to bed early, and I mean early. But he gets up early. He gets up like 4 in the morning, and he goes to bed about 8 o'clock at night. No, it's about 7 o'clock at night, and gets up at 4. So something like that. So actually maybe 8 o'clock, but yeah, it's just start getting ready for bed before that. But like I said, yeah, then he gets up, like I said, around 4 in the morning every morning. Even if he's off for work, he'll get up at 4 in the morning. It's just a habit he's in, and he's got to be true to himself. I can't blame him. So I'm glad you dropped in, ET. Like I said, if you want, you can come up. ET's got an interesting channel. I know ET, if I remember right, I know you through Bobby from Time to Get Going. Now, Bobby's got a nice channel too. He used to always catch his, when he was in California, every Friday during the daytime, he'd have a sing along. A lot of people would come in and sing, and I would go just listen and say hi to people. I believe that's where I met ET, was through him. His live streams, and like I said, his was they sang. Bobby loved to sing. He always sings country songs. I don't think I've ever heard him sing anything but country. And other people would come in and sing the kind of songs they want to sing. Very entertaining. I'd listen to him for hours. Where I was working at, I could listen to that. And I didn't have to take my eyes off what I was doing, so it was a lot easier. Hey, Bobby, type in 3 L's, Bobby. Drop your link. Just 3 L's, man. That'll get your link dropped. My Nightbot will do it for you, buddy. And if you want, Bobby, come on up. I'm just telling everybody how I used to listen to your live stream when you were singing on Friday mornings when you were still living in California. And I could, like I said, I could sit there and listen and not have to watch anything. Sometimes I'd watch, but depends on what was going on. Because now, when I was watching Bobby's live streams, I worked at a spot that I had 3 doors I had to watch, but they were all right there where I was at. So if the door opened, I knew it. So that would automatically draw my attention because they had to swipe in and out. And so I would take care of it. Yeah. Like I was saying, ETS, where I thought I met you through, Bobby. But come on, Bobby, just type in LLL and my Nightbot will drop your link, buddy. Now, Bobby's got a really good channel. Him and Jai, they're in Thailand. Like I said, I started following him. He was still living in California. And okay, Bobby, I'm sorry to hear you had to give it up. So when you get back in the States, if I catch it, I'll be listening. Like I said, I'm changing jobs again in April. Still with the same company, but I'm going to change location. So I don't know how much I'll be able to use my cell phone in the next place. Right now, I can use it quite a bit. Like I said, I got a job. I'm security. And it depends on where I'm working at. Where I was listening to your live stream with everybody singing, I can listen as much as I wanted. Now, it's kind of hard to watch the YouTube videos, but I can listen. Where I'm at now, I can watch YouTube videos or go into live streams, either one, a lot easier. The next place, I may not be able to. It all depends on where you're at and what their requirements and what your job is. Like I said, the job I have right now is I can do it and watch live streams or videos. I just can't be engrossed in it. I have to look up every so often to make sure I'm keeping an eye on the driveway. It's a good sized driveway. You could probably drive 4 or 5 semis side by side down it. All right. I'd say at least 4, if not 5 or more. But they're not allowed to park there. And you will have trucks trying to park there all the time. And I have to go out and tell them they can't park there. And then, you're going to Chiang Mai, huh? Well, I hope you enjoy it. I hear that's a really nice place. It's a lot of, I think, expats up in Chiang Mai, isn't there? Uh, I know I used to follow an expat that lived in Chiang Mai, uh, but he's in the Philippines. Last I heard, uh, he got started having trouble with his leg real bad, and he went to some doctor, and turned out the doctor was a Buddhist, and he thought, well, it's just karma that you're supposed to have it, so he didn't treat him right. At least that's what he said. And because he was having so much trouble walking, him and his wife ended up getting divorced because she didn't like being around somebody that was handicapped. Like I said, this is what he said. I don't know if it's true or not. That's all you're getting is one side of the story. So he left there and went to the Philippines, and ended up meeting a girl there. They ended up getting married, and he got treated and was cured of his leg problem. And I couldn't follow him. The guy was too preachy for me. I was always trying to, oh, you got to do this, do that. It just came off as being preachy, if you know what I'm saying. So I just quit following him. I don't like being preached at. I mean, educate me, inform me, but don't preach at me. Don't to me, oh, you got to do this, or say, hey, look, this I find this works better, but it may not work better for you. But he acted like he knew all the answers, and I don't like that. So I quit following him. But that's me. Now, which Paul is this, Bobby? This is not Paul in Asia, is it? I know Paul in Asia goes over there some, but it is Paul in Asia. Well, tell him hi. I haven't seen him in a while. Uh, Now, Paul in Asia is actually from Australia, if I remember right, and he used to come up and sing on Bobby's channel some, but we'll see. But I was thinking that's who it might be. Like I said, tell him hi. I hope he enjoys his time in Chiang Mai. Has he moved there permanently, or is he still going back and forth? Yeah, from the land of Oz. Yeah. Now, Bobby, has he moved to Thailand permanently, or is he still going back and forth? Oh, he's permanent now. Well, congratulations to Paul. I'm glad to hear that. He finally retired and moved. That's good. Surprised that he doesn't join your live stream for singing. I know he's a good singer. But now, how about Sam? Sam's not been coming up. Sam was always a good singer. Him and Yana both. But all right. I'm glad you guys made it. I don't know how much longer I'm going to go without a guest coming up, because I've been going almost not quite, almost 2.5 hours. I haven't had a guest now for over almost half an hour, so it's starting to get a little slow. But I tell you, Bobby, if you feel like it, come up and. Oh, okay. So you're traveling too much. All right. Well, that makes sense then. Yeah, like I said, Sam and Paul both were good singers, and I know Sam was there a lot of times. And was it Yana? Oh, I'm trying to remember. Was it Yana that was also there quite a bit? Or am I mispronouncing the name wrong? But yeah. Sam is also from Oz. All right. Sam still living in Oz, or has he moved to Thailand, or is he going to the Philippines? Yes, everyone. I do know Bobby's channel a little bit. Like I said, I used to when I was working at. Well, give me a second here. Cisco, the food warehouse place. Every Friday, I'd have Bobby's channel on and listen to the music, and so I always enjoyed that. It helped the hours, whatever time I was able to listen, it'd go much quicker, and I'd have headphones on so it wouldn't nobody else had to listen. Now I had to want the phone conductors, which means they were off the air, so I could still hear people. But that's what I was thinking was the Philippines, because that's where his girlfriend lives. If I remember right, aren't they dating? And I want to say she's in the Manila area, but I could be wrong. But yeah. Now, what time is it over there in the land of Thailand? Bobby, what time is it in Thailand, buddy? That's what I was thinking. I was thinking Yuna was a Filipina. And didn't she live close to Manila? All right, so you and the Philippines are at the same time then. Okay. Now, you guys don't change your clocks, right? Like we do here in the States? You stay the same time as the Philippines year round, right? Well, when we change our clocks, I'll be staying the same time as for you guys. I'm going to change my time here. Yeah. So yeah, like I said, once we change our clocks here, I will change the time I start, so it'll keep it at the same time where you guys are at. Right now, I start at 7 here, which is 8 o'clock Sunday morning there. So when we change our clocks, I'll go to 8 o'clock Saturday evening. I'll keep it at 8 o'clock Sunday morning there. So there won't be any change for you guys. I'll change my time here, and because I know in the Philippines, a lot of the Filipinas that come into my channel and to the chat, they have kids, they have families, so they're getting up, getting their kids ready, fixing them something to eat, fixing themselves something to eat, getting ready for church, and so I don't want to interrupt their routine. To keep it the same for them, because Sunday morning's a busy time for a lot of people in the Philippines. So I'll try to keep it correct, the same for them. So it won't. Oh well, we got to change now because Larry's changed. No, we'll keep it the same for them. Here in the States, Saturday evening is a whole lot easier for us to change our times, and we'll keep it that way. So I'm glad to hear Paul finally made that permanent move. I know that made him happy. It's like like I said, my mom's 98. I can't go anywhere till after she passes, and I want to work. Even if, let's say, she passed this year, I still don't want to go till I'm 73 because I want to have the money to set myself up. When I was younger, I was very wasteful with my money in some ways. In other ways, I don't consider it wasteful. But I didn't plan for the future. I really didn't. My father went on total disability when he was around, I don't know, 46, 47, somewhere in there. So he didn't really get to enjoy his retirement because he went on total disability and retired because of his health. until, so I was kind of looked at that as like, you're not guaranteed tomorrow. And yeah. So anyway, I decided to enjoy my life while I was young. Like I said, I went to China in '99 for 3 weeks. Uh, it put me in debt, but I didn't care. It was something I wanted to do. I wanted to go see the Great Wall, the Forbidden City, and that kind of stuff. And that's what I did. I paid for it, but I mean, I had to pay it off. I put it on the card and then paid it off. And I did that a lot. I took trips that I couldn't pay for up front, so I put it on a card, and then I paid it off. But I got to see and do a lot of things that I wouldn't have done, and I didn't save for the future. So I pay for that now. But I'm gonna, like I said, I'll have all my bills, but my living expenses and my car paid off this year, and then I'm going to continue working full time for about 2 years and save. I'll put back quite a bit for what I make. I'll put back quite a bit of money, and for what I make, not compared to some other people, but for what I make, and it'll be enough money that I'll be able to move to the Philippines. And if I need to, move around a couple of times. And if I decide I don't like it, I can move back to the States. Oh, I believe it. It's not cheap in California. Uh, Now, I spend less than $1,000 a month where I'm at, but I'm living here. But when you take in my rent, my utilities, I'm spending close to $1,000 a month myself. I don't have a gardener, but my rent, my utilities, which for me includes your internet and your phone and stuff. Yeah, I'm right at $1,000 or more myself a month, and I know I don't have taxes, but I do have insurance. But my insurance isn't real expensive because, yeah, I know, but I'm just saying, if you had a house payment, you'd be spending a lot more money than that. But I live in an apartment, and I live in a 1-bedroom apartment, and like I said, my insurance is not that expensive. I have $300,000. If something happens, my insurance will cover up to $300,000 worth of damage and property loss here where I live. And then I have my rent, then my utilities, and just those three things put me close to $1,000 a month, not counting my internet, not counting my other stuff. So, like I said, I can live on my Social Security once I get everything paid off, but it would be tight. And because I still have the car payment, you still got to buy gas for the car, insurance for the car, all that good stuff. So I could live off my Social Security, but I would be hard pressed to do anything else without working. And I make more money working than I do on my Social Security. So once I get everything paid off, my Social Security will be put back every month. That's savings. Plus, I'll probably add some money from my work. And so, like I said, I'll do that for 2 years or a little over. And then hopefully I'll be able to, like I said, well, hopefully in some ways and hopefully not, because like I said, I'm not moving till my mom passes. So, and I'll tell you, in some ways, I don't want her to go, but I know she has dementia. I don't know what how much any of you know about dementia, but there's times that, now with me so far, every time I've gone home, she remembers who I am. I might go the day before and then come back the next day, and she won't remember that I was there the day before. I've had her not remember my sisters, who she lived with. until she had to go to the nursing home. She lived with my sisters, my sister Ruth Ann and my sister Alta. And they go in and visit her one time, and she couldn't remember who they were, so she introduced them as her friends, not her daughters. I mean, it's one thing if you don't remember their names, but if you remember your daughter, your kid, you just say these are my daughters. She didn't remember they were her daughters. She just said these are my friends, and I'll tell you, there's a lot to see in the States. There really is. I know this much. Okay, I do know this much. If I, for some reason, don't go to the Philippines, and if I had the money, I would travel around the United States as much as possible. Because there's a lot I haven't seen. The Grand Canyon, Mount Rushmore, the Black Hills where they're carving out Crazy Horses monument. Golden Gate Bridge. I don't care to see the Golden Gate Bridge. You can keep that. I don't care to go to San Francisco. They can keep that. But those places, there's a couple other places that I haven't seen that would be nice to see. Those are the three main things I'd want to see that I haven't seen. I've been to Niagara Falls. I've been to the Space Needle, the Archway in St. Louis. I've been to Chicago, New York City, Washington, D.C., Indianapolis, Seattle, Washington, Los Angeles. I've been to Vancouver, Canada, Toronto, Canada, Montreal, Canada. I've been to all those places. Niagara Falls, New York, and Niagara Falls, Canada, both. I've been there. I love both of them. Now, if you're going to be perfectly honest about it, yeah, it's very expensive to travel in the United States. You'd have to buy a van that you can live in. So either that or a trailer that you could drive around. I don't think I'd want a trailer that I tow. But yeah, like I said, though, Niagara Falls, if you want to be honest, Canadian side's a more tourist-friendly side. It's got the most to see. You got the best views of the fall. The American side's got some nice things that if a person's going to go see both sides, and they're only going to go once, you go to the American side first to see it. Then you cross over to the Canadian side and see Niagara Falls over there. Because if you go to the Canadian side first, you don't enjoy the American side as much. But if you go to the American side first, you're going to enjoy its beauty, what his has to offer, and actually enjoy it. Then you go to the Canadian side and enjoy it. So the best way to do it is do the American side first, then the Canadian side. But that's what I did, and a lot of times I'll just go to the American side, but I like the Canadian side better. Although I haven't been up to the Canadian side since before they started requiring a passport. I have a passport. I just haven't been up there since before they started requesting it. Because when they first started requesting, I let mine expire, and then the pandemic happened, and so I got my passport now. Oh, the Cave of the Winds! I love the Cave of the Winds, Tim. That's on the American side. I love the Cave of the Winds. Whenever I go up to the American side, that's one of the places I want to go to. The Maid of the Mist you can take from either side. I usually take it from the American side, but I've only been on it once. But the Cave of the Winds, I go on it almost every time I go up, if it's hot. Now, if I happen to go up and it's not that hot, I may not go. But I try to go up when I know it's going to be really hot, so I can go to the Cave of the Winds. And for those of you who don't know, the Cave of the Winds is on the American side, and you you go down to the bottom, and you're down by the falls itself, and they build up this platform that you can go out and get wet from the falls itself. The top level is called the Hurricane Deck, and then you really get wet up there. But They give you some sandals that are made for the water sandals or flip flops, whatever. They're more like sandals because they got the back part to it, and they're made for being wet and dry out. And what you do, is you go up there and they give you a raincoat like thing that you can put on to keep yourself fairly dry. I haven't been up to the falls for a while since before the pandemic, and I want to do when I get up there again. Like I said, I try to go when it's hot, but where I live now, it's a little rougher, a little harder to just say, all right, it's going to be a hot day today, let's go. Because now it's going to take me most of the day just to get up there, and I'm going to have to spend the night somewhere and then come back. So I would have to leave on a Friday with the shift I'm working now, leave on a Friday, just to Batavia, which is just close to my sister, spend the night there, go up on Saturday, spend all day Saturday, come back, spend Saturday night in Batavia again, and then drive back home on Sunday. So it's not something I can do on the spur of the moment, like when I lived in Leroy. I can just say, hey, I'm going, I go that day and come back that day, right back to where I live. So, I mean, I was that close. I was only, from my house to the falls was about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours at the most. So that's something you can do in a day. Now it'd take me almost 6 hours to get there, maybe longer from where I live. So it's not something you can do it. Yeah, I what I do is I get a hotel room when I go up. Usually I get a hotel room in Batavia. And most of the time, if my sister's free, she'll go with me if I'm going somewhere in that area. If she's feeling well. So my sister has I forget what they call it. It's a curvature of the spine. And sometimes it bothers her so where she can't travel. Uh, yeah, I'll rough it in a motel or a hotel. But if I was going to travel with on my Social Security, I'd probably have to get an RV and do it that way. Because hotels cost you a lot more money in the long run. Because if you can get one that you got paid off, then you're not, you're just buying your gas and maybe paying for a place to stay for the night if you don't park in some empty parking lot. But I don't plan on doing that. It's just not something I think I really want to do. I think I'd rather travel maybe one trip a year and maybe get the hotel room. Like you said, rough it in a hotel. But we'll have to see. Like I said, preferably, I'd prefer just go to the Philippines instead and not do that. Well, my parents, they had a mobile, an RV or whatever you want to call it. It was an RV that pole type. They had a 32 footer and a 30 footer. The 32 footer was a fifth wheel. And yes, those Scoliosis. I can never even remember how to pronounce that bloody thing. But she was born with it. A real bad curvature in the spine. She's about 4'11" or 5 foot, but if you was able to straighten up her back, she'd be about 5'2" or 5'3". That's how bad it is. It really cuts her height down. I mean, real bad. But anyway, my parents would go down to Texas the last couple of years of my dad's life for the winter, and Brownsville and Mission. I can't remember which one they went to first, and the next one they went the next year. They spent about 3 years down there during the winter, and whichever one they went to second, they liked the best because they had kind of like a club where you can go in and play pool and because my dad was a pool shooter. He when it come to pool eight ball, my dad was a hustler. He could shoot pool. He was very good at it. And my mom learned to knit and stuff like that when they were down there. And so they went down there the last few years of my dad's life. which I'm glad because it gave him a much better life. And they went down there at least 3 or 4 years before my father passed away. The last two years I was home. The first 2 years I was after I got out of the Navy. His last 2 years of his life, they stayed about October. Now he stayed till November. The year I got out, because I got out in October, so they stayed till November. Then they go down and come back around April. Because Dad didn't want to see that first snowflake. I guess I got it from him. He hates the snow and cold. Now I could take the cold, but he couldn't because of his health. Oh, your daughter has it. I'm sorry to hear that. Uh, yeah, there's people that way, Tim. Now, whenever I go home, I don't get, like I said, my closest cousins I get together with all the time. Some of my cousins, I'm going to be honest with you, some of them I would not even recognize if I saw them. I mean, we're just not that close. Never were. Now, I do have cousins that I know that I don't get together with because, well, we're not in the same age group. They're more my oldest sister's age, and the ones that are my age, I do see once in a while. And so Kathy, that's the one I couldn't think of her name earlier. Kathy and I are about the same age. I think she might be a year younger than I am. Her and her son was at my cousin George's, kind of like a family get together. We had some other cousins show up as well that I hadn't seen in a while. Like I said, Lena, which her mother Laura, and it was I don't know how you say it. My first cousin once removed. My second cousin, I don't know how you say it. Laura's mother's my first cousin. Now her mother was my sister Ruth Ann's. I believe she was her age, which is 5 years older than me. Laura's a lot younger than I am because she had her later in life. Lena is her daughter, and then her 2 daughters and son. So Lena and her 3 kids was at the party. Kathy and her son Billy, I think that was his name, or Jimmy, I can't remember. Jimmy. They were there. Now Jimmy, I really feel sorry for Jimmy. Jimmy was a normal teenage boy, around 16, 17 years old, and there was a storm, and he was driving over to check on his grandmother, man. And a tornado came through, picked up a tree, and threw it down on the car he was driving. And it didn't kill him, but it did leave him handicapped. And also, it made his, like I say, he was a typical 16, 17-year-old kid. Now he's got the mental capacity of like a 5 or 6-year-old, but he still remembers being able to be normal. So I really feel sorry for the kid because, he's quite a bit older now. I mean, and, so yeah. No, not help, but you can't drive, Tim. You're right. So, like I said, I do. This time I go home, I'm going to go home in August. Now that I know there's going to be a family reunion in August on my mom's side, so I can go to that and see some cousins I haven't seen in a while. And like I said, it'd be nice seeing them. I know these cousins, but they're all in the older age group. There's not people that I ran around with when I was younger, like George and Kathy and Billy. Billy was her brother, who was my age, and Kathy was a year younger, if I recall right. It might have been vice versa, but I think Billy was my age. And like I said, everybody else is a lot older than me of that group. So the ones I know, I mean, I have cousins I did not know were cousins. Matter of fact, I was working at a gas station one summer. I had this kid come in all the time. We got along pretty good, talked all the time, and knocked about together some. But we never asked I never asked him his last name. He never asked me mine. Because if he'd have told me his last name, I'd have known he was a cousin. Because everybody in Vigo County with the last name of Ferrand or Fern, depends on how you want to pronounce it. It's the same name. Some pronounce it Ferrand, some pronounce it Fern. They're my cousin. It's that simple. Every one of them. There's not a Fern or Ferrand in Vigo County that's not related to me. That's my mom's dad's family. We're all related. So anyway, he had a brother coming home from the Navy on leave, and he was going to go pick him up and asked me if I wanted to go with him. So I said, sure, why not? Sounds like fun. Let's grab a 6-pack of beer and we'll pick your brother up and have something to drink. And so we go out to the airport to pick him up. His plane comes in and he's not there. So he walks over and he goes, I'm sorry. He says, I'm supposed to be meeting my brother here. He says, can you tell me what's going on with Mike Ferrand? And he said, well, he's going to be on the next flight that's coming in later. He had to be rescheduled for a different flight. I looked at Dave and I said, Dave, I said, who's your grandfather? He goes, Orville's my grandfather. I said, huh. I said, Merrill's mine. He goes, Merrill Ferrand? I said, yeah. That's my grandpa. That's my mom's mom. My mom's dad. He goes, I didn't know you were cousins. I said, yeah. I didn't either. That's how I found out he was my cousin. I knew him for a couple of months. That's right, Bobby. As I said, I'm 70 years old. I'm just going to, like I said, right now my goal is to move to the Philippines, but I can't do it until my mom passes. As much as I hate saying it, I just can't do it. If I would have been even 5 years, I couldn't have done it. 10 years ago, I wouldn't have done it. My mom was not. She was in a lot better health 10 years ago, but she was, like I said, 83 years old 10 years ago. I wouldn't have been able to retire at that time. But I'm just saying, even if I could have retired at that time, I wouldn't have done it. And now I just can't do it. I mean, but so we just have to do what's best for ourselves and our family. And I've always been close with my family. And my mom and dad will, the best part of me is from my mother. The worst part of me is from my father. My father was a hellion. And my mom's, all her gray hairs from me and my 3 brothers, especially me and my younger brother. We were the real hellions of her kids. But that's what you got to do, Tim. Like I said, when I go to Cebu, I don't plan on driving. I want to live somewhere where I can walk most places and then take a beat bus or something if I need to. If it's going to be someplace I can't drive, but I want to be where most places I want to go, I can walk. I don't know if I'll be able to afford to that. But I know in Cebu, I really don't want to drive. Dumaguete, I think I could drive there. Some of the smaller cities like Iloilo, I think I could drive there. So, Bobby, Tim's already got a girlfriend. I don't know if she's young, good looking. I'm sure she's good looking, but I just don't know how young she is. Tim will have to tell you that. Myself, personally, I don't want a really young woman. Let's be honest about it. At my age, I don't want an offspring. In other words, I don't want to get a woman pregnant and have kids. So if she's already got kids, that's different now. I'm not saying I won't help with kids. I don't want to bring a kid into this world that I can't see or have a really good shot at seeing him graduate from high school and maybe getting through college. So I'm 70 right now, and I'm not even there. So let's say I go over 73, get her pregnant, 74, kid is born. Where we're looking at 22 years to get him through high school and out of college. Well, that's 96. The odds are against that. And so that's something that I just don't want to do because I don't want to. I just don't want to do that. I mean, if it happens, okay, I guess I'll put up with that or accept it. But it's not, like I said, it's not something I'm looking to do. Believe me, these young women are gorgeous, but I just don't feel right doing that. I know there's guys that do it. I'd want to make sure if I did have a kid that's my biological kid that they're signed up and their Social Security will help them out if I'm gone. I don't know what I would take to do that, but that would have to be something I could do. Because I would not want to leave hopefully it'd be my wife if I have a kid, my wife and kid, without some kind of support till the kid's out, at least out of high school or college. Yeah, I am kind of old and dusty, aren't I? Thanks, Bobby. Thank you, Bobby. We appreciate that, buddy. Yeah. All right. Hey, everybody. I've been going longer than I thought. It's almost 3 hours. So I think I'm going to shut this one down. I want to thank everybody for coming. And we'll do it again next week. It'll probably just say welcome to March and then 25 years smoke free. Like I said, March 3rd, it'll be 25 years since I quit smoking. And that was the hardest thing I ever did was give up cigarettes. I'll tell you that right now. The hardest thing I ever did was quit smoking. So, but I'm glad I did it. I notice now that when I get a cold, my cough doesn't hurt me as much. And everything else is better as well. It's really got an improvement. So that's what's coming to. And all right, everybody, I do look forward to seeing y'all again next week if you can make it. For those of you that can't, well, you have a good one. Remember, I do this almost every Saturday. The only way I won't do this on a Saturday if something happens is to where I can't do it. Whether it be because of personal problems, something going on. And, but I try to come on every Saturday, which is Sunday in the Philippines and in Thailand. All right, everyone. I'm going to go ahead and shut this one down. Thank you for coming. Remember now, be kind to each other. Take care of yourselves. Stay safe. Stay healthy. Plus, as always, try to have fun. Bye, everybody. We're going to end. Take care now.